All right, guys, we're officially recording. Hey, guys, it's me, DC Soap Sanctuary. I got here with me Albert Bostic and our special guest,
Mr.
Brock
Davon
TV.
Brock, Brock TV.
The one and only Brock TV. How you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good. Doing real good. How's everybody weekend going?
I can't complain.
Yeah, definitely no complaints for me. Definitely none for me. I'm excited, guys, to have all three of us here doing this. You know, I always knew when I started doing this, I was like, I think one of these days it's going to be all three of us on here. I felt it. I felt the breadcrumbs of it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked. I'm just still shocked at this point.
I know, right?
I'm just taking it all in. I'm playing it cool, but I'm still shocked though. Just saying.
I am too. I'm definitely like it's like belief and disbelief at the same time that because I only had just started, like I said, a year ago, and the two people that I saw the most that came up were you and Brock TV, which leads me to my first question. Let's start off with this. Let's leave the first question. My first question is, how did you get started with reviewing soaps on YouTube, and what was the first soap opera storyline you remember? And I'm going to start this off with first Brock TV.
Funny thing is, it was like March 2012, I want to say, but I was watching it for years, and it was what was the story? It was right around the time when John McBain, Blair, everybody was migrating from One Life over, to GH. It was during that time frame. And Tracy, I think, was married to Anthony Zaccara at the time. And I'm just watching. I'm like, I got this damn camera right here. I said, I want to talk about this. I said, and I was like, I had this YouTube account since like 2008, never really posted anything on it or used it for that. So I said, let me throw it at the wall and see what happened. And I just got up there and recorded it. It was right around the time, I want to say, when Sean and Carly were kind of being around each other. And I was like, during that time, I'm like, well, Carly, you need to go ahead and get with him. Shit. I'm like, you done had every other man out here. You need to experience this one. He's different from what you normally do. So that's kind of how I got into it. And I just kept doing it. And, 2012 from there turned into fucking 10 years later. It's like, 2022, 10 years later.
We've done it for a long time.
Yeah.
I think longer than anybody on YouTube right now, to be honest.
It's been a long road, but it's been a fun one.
Now, before I touch on that, I want to go ahead and just pass this question out over to Albert. Albert, same question to you. How did you get started with reviewing soaps on YouTube? What was the first soap storyline you remember watching?
First story I remember watching was One Life to Live. And that was during the train accident where like Will and Jessica was walking away. You have Bo just standing there watching. I'm just like, you're a cop. Why are you not doing anything? You're just going to just okay, cool. So that's how I started with that. I did One Life, then I did Port Charles, and then I went from Port Charles to General Hospital. But honestly, tell you the truth, I kind of started my channel based off of Brock TV a little bit. Because I was watching him for a minute, and I was like, you got this guy that's not there doing reviews on General Hospital. And at that time, I was like, I didn't really know, like, as far as like doing reviews and being a guy doing like, it's all taboo and everything like that. But I was like, I saw the way he did. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should try it. So I tried it, and at that point, it was just, went from there.
Yeah, I remember that. There was a time where watching soaps for guys wasn't cool.
and that's
way back yonder.
That's the weird thing. I'm like, because I got uncles and stuff that grew up watching Bold and the Beautiful back in the day. So I'm like, it's weird. It was like, I didn't think it was a guy thing, a woman thing. I just thought it was a thing. It's like women watch basketball. I ain't see no issue with that. And like, it is what it is.
Yeah, now it became cool to watch soaps. Nowadays everyone's like, that's all cool. Now it's all right. It's all cool and all. I remember before I go into my answer to this question is, I remember back in 2012, I was in the dorms, and I remember coming up on Brock TV's channel, because back when I was in college, I was in dorms, they didn't have no cable. So I was trying to catch the show for free on YouTube.
I remember them days. I used to have to use a little cord and all that just to get certain channels. I'm like, this ain't life.
You know, same way I was trying to watch Days back in everywhere backyard. I was trying to watch Days, had to adjust the okay wire for it to come clearly. But anyways, when I was in the doors that time, I was trying to catch GH for free on YouTube. And you know, you had to catch it quick.
Yeah, they will take that sucker down.
And at that time, when I was trying to watch it, Rock TV stuff came up. I remember, and this was, like you said, during the time when the One Life to Live people went over to GH, and I would catch your reviews. I was really trying to catch the GH, the bootleg version GH.
Yeah.
And I was yours out there. But when I got started, it was like over, I want to say over a year ago now at this point, like on YouTube. I was like, my brother was telling me, hey, you should do a YouTube channel, you know, do it on soaps. Because initially I was going to do like one of those life advices channel. My brother's like, that's corny, do soaps. I was like, sure. I was like, you think there's an audience out there that would want to watch people do soaps? And there's an audience out there. And I Googled it at the time. And the first two people that came up was Rock TV, who I instantly remembered seeing you through the years. And then there was Albert. So I was like, okay, so there's people doing this. I was like, all right, let me go ahead and do this and see how this goes. Let me go ahead and do this. And when I first started watching soaps, it was the storyline on All My Children, because All My Children was the first one I saw. And it was around the time that Erica and Bianca had JR cornered in the room and he decided to jump out the window instead.
I remember that.
You know, he just went the whole
yeah, like Spider-Man type shit.
You know, which is just so extreme, you know. But because Erica and Bianca did not want him coming downstairs drunk and just causing a mess and ruining their little dinner party. So he decided, I'm just go ahead and jump out the window. Why not? And that was how I got started. I was like, what, 12 years old at the time, watching soaps. And for some reason, the cable wasn't coming in where we were living at the time. So that's how I got to soaps. There was something else to watch as I got into it. But that's how I got into it. And then doing the YouTube channel last year, it's honestly just been, I think, a just complete blast doing this. And, you know, then collabing with Albert, and now I'm collabing with you. So I think, honestly, I feel like this is like a 360 right here for me, moment, 360 moment for me. So I'm really excited to be doing this collab with you guys. I want to just start off and just ask, because me and Albert, we've done like so many collabs, and this is our first one with you, Brock. I wanted to ask you though, how does it feel to be doing this now for 10 years at this point?
It feels amazing. I'm gonna tell you, it feels like every time I click that camera on, it's like it's the first day that I did it. You know what I mean? And it's always fun. It's always a challenge sometimes, but I make it fun because I said, listen, the one thing I don't ever want to do is make this a job. Yeah. I don't ever want it to feel like a job, make it a chore. I said never, because I always have fun doing it. Because when that camera come on, I feel so alive. Like, you know, when it comes on and you just talking your mess and all that, and it's fun. You know, you get people interacting with you, and, you know, everybody's bouncing off ideas and, oh, who this could be, or who shot this one. And it's fun, you know, it's really fun. It's electric in a way.
Right. Now, Albert, what about you? How does it feel now doing it? I think it's almost like 2 or 3 years now you've been doing this, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, about 3 years. It's crazy. It's every time I do it, and every time I see like comments from people saying, you know, you're doing a good job, and you know, I love your reviews and stuff like that. It's just weird. I mean, it's good, but it's just like it's good in a weird way. Like, I didn't think I would be doing this and just having this much fun. You know, my initial reason for doing it because I couldn't stand Nina. And so, and it's funny too, because I went on Brock TV's channel and I was typing something in about Nina, and I was like, you know what, I still don't feel good. You know what? Let me make my review. I did it and I felt much better. I was like, that was fun. Let's try it out tomorrow. So I just went from there. And it's just, like I said, it's just been a blast. So.
Yeah, I feel the same too. I feel like now I've been doing this for about, I want to say a year and a half, and I really don't even be noticing that. Sometimes I'm like, you know, you notice we like post your videos, like you see all the videos prior. I mean, from way back yonder. I think actually today, when I was listening to other reviews earlier today, one of your reviews from like 2015, Brock TV, just popped up in the feed.
I listen, anything I normally do. Actually, when I'm uploading a video, while I'm uploading it and I see all the old videos, I usually go down and look at them like, damn. And I remember it's like a few where I had like created my own videos where it's like my own fantasy GH that I did years ago. And people watched the video. I didn't think anything of it. It was just stuff that I had on my mind for storyline purposes. Right. Storylines that I would probably do. And people watch that video and they commented and they're like, why the hell are you not writing the actual show? Because this is actually true to the characters. Because it was one where Faith Roscoe, I came up with the idea to have Faith Roscoe come back. And she was raising all type of hell in Port Charles. And shootouts, and Emily got shot. And, you know, Nicholas was at her bedside. And we found out during that time that Sky and Luke were having an affair. I came up with that off the top of my head. And Tracy was pissed. And Alan was arguing with Sky at the hospital while they were waiting on word about Emily. And Monica just came in. I wrote that in, how Monica just came in and told them to stop all the bickering because this is not the time. And people were commenting, it was like, you know, that scene that you came up with, they said, I can realistically see that scene because they said that's some shit Monica would say. Like if they're arguing in the midst of tragedy, of drama, and y'all arguing about an affair, she would tell y'all to shut up. I was like, yeah, it's just like, because I know the characters. Like I know what they would say, what they wouldn't say, what they would do, what they wouldn't do. So it was kind of fun for me to go back and look at all that stuff.
The only problem is sometimes the writers don't seem to know those things.
No, and that's the crazy part, because I watch a lot of interviews that a lot of people even behind the scenes do. And they would say that they got all these different writers for the memory purposes. Like they'll have a writer specifically there to keep continuity going. Like, oh, this happened, you know, to remind them that, oh, this happened in 2015. This happened in 2012.
Right.
And I think Frank Valentini said that. I think it was Frank or Ron at the time, I think, said that they have a writer for that specific thing. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, the coolest thing is too, is that, you know, with these reviews is that with you and Albert, you guys both, so I do mine on the weekends, but you guys do this 5 days a week. So a question I have for you guys, I feel like I'm doing 2020 interview with you guys. A question I have, and I want to start with Albert on this one first, is not so much you doing this 5 days a week, but just in general, what do you feel is one of the toughest things you have dealt with as a YouTuber? I want to ask Albert first, and I'm gonna pass it over to Brock TV afterwards.
Now, when you say toughest thing, like, what do you mean by that?
Just in general, whether it's just the, you know, the subscribers, or just even posting reviews, or some of the challenges sometimes reviewing the shows, just anything you would say with any of the challenges you've been facing.
Mostly to try to keep the videos good. You know, that's kind of the hard part, especially if you're tired from getting out of work and you're posting like sometimes I'll post like 4 videos, but I want to make sure that all 4 videos are good. Otherwise, what's the point of me posting them? I think that's sometimes the most challenging part. And sometimes I will sit there like with my GH reviews. If I'm not really too sure how to go about it, I'll be like, you know what, let me sit there and check out Brock TV and see what he thought of it. And sometimes we've had different perspectives, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I could sit there and go off of that, or I can talk about what I didn't like. So sometimes I'll sit there and cheat and be like, I'm not really too sure which way to go. Let me see what Brock TV thought. And then Brock TV be like, oh, I really love this video, or I really love this episode because of this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, that's different. So I think that's pretty much about it.
I have noticed that. I have noticed that too. Like Brock TV will come and like, oh gosh, I just love Britt and Jason. I was so giddy. And then you'll be like, I didn't really care too much for Britt and Jason.
But that's what I love too. It's like, because everybody likes who they like, and everybody, like, you know, they don't like, you know, certain couples. And I get that. And I'm like, yo, I'm for it. Like maybe you see something I don't see, or everybody has like difference of opinions, and I love it. It's like, who I love, you may not love. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, same. Because I mean, there's like times where Brock TV like, I just cannot stand Nina right now. And I'll go to like Albert, and they'll be like, I just don't understand Nina. And then, you know, me, I'm just like, I love Nina. So,
it's because, you know, it's like I try to like Nina. I do. I give her props when she do certain things. I do. But then she get into that delusional ass mind state, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not rocking with you today, because you on that foolishness. I just gave you your props, and you just went back to some foolishness.
All right, Albert, anything you want to add before I pass off the question over to Brock?
I think maybe the toughest parts is not being able to get out the review, or to get it out super late, where I feel like people won't watch it, or people won't watch it as much because they come out later. I think that's probably like the most challenging part, really, and also to make sure that it's good.
Right. Yeah, because I'm sure it must be tough to like review an episode for the day, and it was just so dry. There's those dry episodes where there's like not much happening.
Oh my God, those are probably the worst. Like during that whole picnic scene thing. Remember the Quartermain picnic thing?
Bootleg Guiding Light they had going on.
And that's the thing. That's when I was being, I guess, super negative, and it just. But I can't. I gotta sit there and say how I feel.
Right. Now,
Yeah,
Brock, just as a reference, I called it the bootleg Guiding Light because I felt like Guiding Light. I don't know if you watch Guiding Light, but on Guiding Light they have this thing every year where they have the Bauer family barbecue.
Come on now, I know a bit or two about the Spalding Empire.
All right, Brock, same question out to you is what would you say is some of the toughest things you deal with as a YouTuber and just in general overall?
One of the things that I do have to
express.
One of the things that I do have to agree with Albert on is making it good. You know what I mean? Because you want to give out quality stuff. And it's hard sometimes because I tell people this all the time. When you're doing it 5 days a week, you're not going to get bang, bang, shoot 'em up, crazy every day, 5 days a week. And I don't expect it. And then, Wednesdays, I would say for me, Wednesdays, I think usually are the drier episodes. And on those episodes, I'll be looking at it and I'm watching. I'm like, okay, this is dry. This is funny. This is dry. This is dry. So I'm like, now I got to come up with a way to make these dry episodes funny as all hell in my review. Because I got to talk some stuff in my review to make it fun. Because I'm like, listen, I get a lot of people telling me, they're like, listen, this was such a dry ass episode, but your review made it better though. And that's what I try to go for. You know what I mean? Because it's like, we got to spruce this up. They made it dry. Let me make it good. One of the other challenges though, I would say I love subscribers. I do. I'm going to be honest though. I love 95% of my subscribers because you get the other 5 that just got to come in, act foolish, be on some disrespectful mess. And that's something I don't tolerate. I'm like, listen, be respectful, just like I'm being of you. Cause it's like, I don't disrespect anybody. And it's like, once you give me disrespect, that's when, something in me just come out. And I'm like, cause you see my review, how I can be. So I'm like, why you want to come for me? Like, why? Why? I'm trying to be nice. Even if we disagree on something, and that's the funny thing. I could somebody could disagree with something, my point of view, like Albert said, like, my point of view on the episode may differ from his. And I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? Cause that's life. We're all different. But then you get the subscribers like, no, I don't effing agree with this. I don't like, pump your brakes. I'm like, listen,
too far, right?
I'm like, listen, we all know it's a show. Relax. I joke around like, yeah, I go to Port Charles in a minute and whoop Nina ass, but we all know it's a joke. I'm like, some people take it way too seriously. I'm like, calm down, go meditate. Woosah. But for the most part, I enjoy doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any regrets about any of the 10 years I've been doing it. I don't have it. Listen, as long as these shows go on, I'm rocking with it for as long as it goes. Right. It's hard though, because I do want to do, because I see your days reviews, and I was looking at that damn intro. I said, look at this intro right here. And I was just sitting there laughing, replaying the whole intro. I'm like, yeah, wow, I love this damn intro so much. Because it reminded me of such a soap theme, like a soap intro. And I'm like, yo, I love this. Because my goal is, honestly, I want to expand. Like, I want to do other shows. Bold and Beautiful, I try to do that on regular, but they be pissing me off over there because these love triangles, I'm like, y'all just be. And I only could take about that much of Brooke before I just turn it off, because I'm like, Brooke be working my nerve. But now that Days is on Peacock, I'm definitely gonna squeeze in some time to get that done too.
Right. I definitely said I did notice about some of your reviews you do sometimes of like YNR and B&B that you do from time to time. And when I had just initially started the channel, that's what I wanted to do, was make everything soapy. Like what I used to do in my videos, I'd have the end of it where it goes, "This has been Soap Sanctuary." Because I remember Guiding Light used to do that. It goes, "This has been Guiding Light." Like I used to do that a lot because I'm like, let me just have some fun with it, because I'm just like, okay, like I said, there's even some weeks when I review certain shows. Like I just did a recent B&B review, and my God, like I just watched a whole week, and I'm like, what was there to review? Like it was tough. And I'm doing it in the week. I'm like, this was tough to even review.
Yes.
It was tough to review. So, like when I had did the channel, I was like, let me just have fun with it. Let me do a little soap intro. Let me do a little all this other stuff. Let me just be corny and cheesy with it.
Yeah. But it's fun though.
Yeah. I feel like it makes it something just completely different. Now I want to ask Albert, have you had any tough subscribers that you've dealt with? Any stories? I think it's been a little bit mild, it seems like. Because on Rack TV, they're like demanding, hey, you didn't put out the review. Where were you at last night? What's going on? What about you?
In my bed, sleep, tired from working an overnight shift. That's where I was.
What about you, Albert? Like, have you had any stories?
Yeah, no, I've had it, but before I get on to me, there's a thing I want to say with Brock TV. I remember that I guess like maybe it was like 2 subscribers that must have pushed your buttons, because I remember in the beginning of the video, you was like, all right, before we get started, and I don't think you actually called out those 2 subscribers, but it's like, you know who you are.
Oh, I don't like to call out names because I don't like to give them the clout.
No, and it's funny too, because it was like, I remember you said that, and then like, maybe I think it was like a couple months ago, I had one, probably the same person that you had, and I was like, oh, here we go. And I knew, and I had a feeling, I was like, it's probably the same person that was getting on Brock TV's nerves. But I mean, for the most part, for me, I mean, I have people that be like, oh, I didn't. There was one person that was like, oh, well, this is a mess, this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. I was like, you know what? This is how I'm gonna handle you. So I gave him a link to DC and somebody else's channel. I was like, you know what? You can just go on theirs and we got it. Like, because at the end of the day, not everyone's gonna like everyone's opinion or their channel and stuff like that. So I try not to take it too personal. I think the only thing that I've actually had a problem with was this week. Well, I think last week, because I was doing a live and someone was racist as hell. And I was like, you know what? Listen, if you're gonna sit there and say a couple racist comments, whatever, fine. I kept trying to block this person, and for some odd reason, they kept getting back on.
They got the
And
YouTube in their pocket. That's what it is.
Yeah,
It was right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's crazy. You know, the thing is, it wouldn't have bothered me, but when I do my lives, like everyone's having fun, everyone's having a good time. So that one person is just messing up the flow. I think that's probably the only time that I've like had a serious problem.
Right.
But then I didn't see him like Thursday, so I was like, all right, cool, we're just gonna have a good time.
I would say that like from what I've seen with subscribers, it hasn't been too bad. It was when I decided to make a soap Twitter for the channel. That's when I saw
Twitter will chew your ass up.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? This is just not gonna work for me. I just like going to excuse myself. I even did a whole skit on my channel about the craziest of soap Twitter because I was like, this is like, it was just too much because I thought like it was just gonna be friendly soap banner. And like I've seen wrestling fans and sports fans, and I think soap fans are the worst because it's just, I would post them there, oh, I'm loving Sunny and Nina. People would comment on, how dare you? What are you talking about? I'm just like, this is a soap. Like people were really gunning for me. I was just like, yeah, I'm about to excuse myself. What was that?
Remember the DID one?
Oh my God. Yeah, I did the whole top 5 DID soap opera storylines, and someone commented in my video, I have DID, how dare you? I was like, I didn't even know how to even respond to that. I was thinking of commenting back something slick and being like, I apologize. It was my alter who made this video.
Let me handle your Twitter, because let me tell you something. I don't hold nothing back from people on Twitter. Like, listen, you come on my Twitter talking that foolishness, you're going to get it right back to you. Especially when I'm tired.
But that was on my actual YouTube video when they commented DID thing. And I think prior to that, I decided I was going to excuse myself so Twitter is like, I can't handle it. I was like, I just want the right kind of energy. So if someone's on my channel, they're subscribing. I know they already know what time it is. They know who I am. Like, even I just posted a video recently that I was anti-Sprina. It was like a joke. It was just my review for the week. And I knew that was going to, I knew it was maybe going to cause something, but I saw someone commented on there, oh, someone who's anti-Sprina, something along the lines of, if you're anti-Sprina, I can't really get with you. And so for that reason, I'm not watching your channel, I'm not subscribing. And then someone else commented, well, yeah, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. There's that little conversation among themselves. Like, all right, it's cool. It's cool though. It's cool. Cause I'm just like, it's in jest for me. It's in jest. Like, this is not like the serious thing, but you know how some people are.
I'm gonna tell you just like this, to be honest. Both of y'all, this is what I had to learn over the years. Be authentically you. Because if you try to cater to any one of your subscribers to what they think you should like or it's not gonna work and you're not gonna be you. You know what I mean? I like a certain couple. I remember people was in my comments trying to chew me up about Rory and Trina. I said, listen, I like the two of them together. I said, I can't help it. Do I like her and Spencer? Yes, but I like her and Rory because he's a nice guy so far that we see. I said, he treats her with respect. And people was really coming at me in the comments because I thought it was sweet. He brought the girl some damn brownies. They talking about them dry ass brownies. How the fuck you know they dry? They could be moist. How you know? How you know that? Them shits look good to me. You had me at brownie. Shit. All you gotta do is bring me at brownies. You got me.
Right.
You bring me a tub of homemade brownies that you made. I'm yours for the next 10 years if you keep them coming. I'm yours.
But I would agree with you on that. I agree because I feel like when I started talking about how much I love Sunny and Nina, because I like the side that she brought out of Sunny, because I always hated Sunny, Jason, and Carly, the triumphant trio, the holy trinity of GH. I always despised them for a long time. I know that's Albert's guy. Albert loves Sunny and JC. Stands down for them. But when I started posting I love Sunny and Nina, people were just like, are you crazy? You okay? I used to get those weird messages on Twitter, but I was like, I'm still gonna keep going with it. You know, I'm still gonna keep going. Which brings me to a question, guys, ask here. What is your guys' favorite or best, who would you say is the best GH character and storyline? Either one of you guys want to touch it, jump on that one.
Albert, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you take that one first.
Okay, all right. I mean, obviously it's going to be Sunny, and it's going to be the Metro Court hostage scene. Like that whole storyline, I just loved it because everyone was involved in it, you know? Everyone was involved. I love storylines like that. Like even like the what's my other one? The water poisoning thing with Jerry Jacks.
Yes.
Everyone was involved. You know, I love stuff like that where it's like even people that don't even like each other has to work together. I love stuff like that. And it's a shame that they don't do that stuff anymore, but
I know
that's the type of stuff that I love.
Yeah.
What about you,
bro? If y'all know me well enough, you know what I'm about to say. I love everybody. I'm gonna be real. I like a lot of damn characters, so to narrow it down, but I got to go with my girl Claudia Zakara because I miss her. The freaking birthday scene. I play that scene lives in my mind rent free every day. Where it was her birthday, Sunny threw the birthday party, he just went off on her ass. Like he just ripped her a new one. Even if you look at that scene and when he called her, what did he say to her? He called her all types of, he called her all type of, he called her he just went off. And if you look in the background of the people standing behind her, you'll see Milo standing behind her. And the look on Milo's face always lives rent free in my mind too, because his look was like, I'm a bodyguard, but I don't know what to do right now. Like I'm mad confused. But that whole scene, I loved it because Sunny was just airing everybody the hell out. I also felt like Claudia was airing his ass out some too, because he do need to take some blame. And I just love how fierce Claudia was though, because that was a badass woman. Like she is what Ava Jerome became. I'm gonna be real. I feel like Claudia, she crawled so Ava could run and walk, so she could walk and run.
And so
because Claudia was Ava Jerome before Ava Jerome. Like, let's be real. Like, she was nutty as all hell and crazy, but that's what I loved about Claudia though, because you could tell like she just wanted to be loved. You see the way Anthony treated her ass. But yeah, I love that scene, man. Claudia wasn't taking no prisoners that night. She had that little gun out, told Carly, get your ass over here. It's like, get over here, let's go. And I'm like, Carly ain't even put up a fight. I mean, I think if Carly wasn't pregnant at the time, I think she definitely would have put up a fight. But I'm like, Carly, you walked a little, too calm and too nice towards her. For me, I'm like, you should at least try to slap the gun or something. You got a million people standing there. All you had to do is call some type of diversion. Jason could have got a shot off. But I love how she even chewed into Jason ass that night. She was like your little robot hitman. I love that shit. I love that shit. And Tracy asked, she had to get in her little day. She was like, Jason, put the gun down, you idiot. I was like, Tracy, sit down. Sit down. But I love that scene because everybody was in the ballroom and Sonny and all them, they was just in their bag that night. And I remember it too, because that was the night before Halloween. I remember it. Yeah, night before Halloween. When I tell y'all, I played that scene over the whole weekend in anticipation for Monday to see what was going to happen. I played that whole scene over all that Halloween weekend.
That was back when it was must see TV. I didn't all the way enjoy Bob Boozer, but he made it must see TV. Like, you wanted those to happen on Monday at that time. Mm-hmm. I remember that. I would say honestly, I think that Claudia's car may be the hook, but I'm gonna get on that in a little bit later on in the video. But to answer this question, I would say is best GH character. I would say for me is Robin Scorpio. I think that's one of the best GH characters for me. I felt like they knew how to like consistently write for Robin for one thing to the next. And if you look at General Hospital Night Shift, that was pretty much revolving around like Robin and Patrick and their whole thing. And, so Robin to me is one of the best GH characters and the best storyline, I would say. I would go with the Metro Corp, but if I had to name like a second one to add to that, I would say the Text Message Killer storyline.
That was good. I loved it.
It was, especially when Bob Guza had revealed to the audience, back before, Twitter was going to blaze with spoilers and stuff, he just said it was somebody from the past. And it's like, it looked like it was going to be Alcazar. And it's like, in a way it was, but it wasn't. It was an Alcazar, but it just wasn't Lorenzo, And to know that it was Diego in the end when he took off the mask and he was like, yeah, I had a text message from my dad. And he said, I'm coming for you. So I thought it was only right that I send the same out to you guys. And it was good.
Now I feel like we all in the damn handicap match because I'm like, Albert, you see our ass done picked two semi-villains here and he done went with the goody two-shoe. Everybody know Robin's squeaky clean. But Robin ain't even got a jaywalking ticket.
I know Robin actually is like the one GH character they have just never. I mean, there was a time she put Emma in a tree, but they really haven't had her do nothing too crazy at this point. But that Text Message Killer storyline was so good. I'm trying to figure out who was the biggest major character they killed because they killed off Letitia, Sonny's housekeeper, and then her cousin goes work from the next week. I'm sorry though, but like if my cousin died working for you, I don't think I'm gonna go working for you.
Exactly. I don't give a damn. You listen, you can't write a check big enough for me to come up in here.
The Corinthos coffee money must have been really good for Mercedes to come by. But that storyline to me, I thought it was absolutely like incredible, just the way they wrote for it. And then it was Diego, he took off the mask, and because I didn't see that coming. We were thinking Alcazar was going to show up, but I didn't see that coming. So that makes me want to ask now. We talked about the best GH character in storyline. What do you guys feel is the worst GH character and the worst GH storyline?
Shit.
Which one do you guys want to tackle that one first?
I'm like, ooh, Brock,
you should go first. I'm still thinking. Damn, he said the worst. Ooh. Albert, I'm gonna let you go first. I gotta think on this one. This is hard. Hold on. The worst.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to sit there and think of a really terrible character, like a terrible main character. But I mean, the worst story easily has to be the Nixon Falls. Easily. Period. I have nothing else to say about that. It was just the worst. And it was so bad because, I've said this before, but I felt like there was a writer's change. Like the way that, what was his name? Who's the villain that came in that just went to jail? I can't think of him right now.
Just went to jail.
Yeah. the ponytail guy, what was his name?
Oh,
Yeah, I felt like Sonny was supposed to sit there and take him out. I don't know what changed or where the direction went, but now you got Laura, Curtis, and a handful of other people, and you got Cyrus that's like, holding people hostage. I'm like, bro, you got people for that. What are you doing? Like, this is something that Sonny should have took care of. Like, I felt like he came there for Sonny. I don't know if it was Maurice Bernard that was like, I just want to do Nixon Falls, but I felt like there was a rewrite somewhere and it just didn't feel right.
You're not lying, because I vaguely remember an interview where I think it was the actor that played Cyrus who talked about it a little bit, that he was supposed to be there for a short period of time. He was there a lot longer than what he was originally supposed to be. So I think the original plan was at some point for Sonny to kill him. But during that time frame, I do remember him saying that they switched it, that they changed it, and they kind of dragged it out for him to be there longer. So I think that's where the Nixon Falls thing came in. And they were like, okay, let's do this, instead of having Sonny just take his ass out. Because that was, I believe, the original plan for it, was for Sonny to just kill him, be done with him. I think that was, I want to say.
The good thing about that storyline, though, is I felt like was the Carly and Jason thing. And this is how I felt what was supposed to happen if Steve Burton didn't exit. I felt like it was supposed to be like a wrestle with Sonny and Jason for who was going to get Carly. But because he exited, that's why they did the stupid thing with Britt. And I mean, it worked with Britt. Don't get me wrong, it worked a little bit, but it just seemed so random that like he was okay. I do initially think the writers wanted Jason with Britt, but then when Maurice Bernard decided, they didn't want to fall storyline, they put him with Carly, which I was okay with. And honestly, I was okay with him and Carly being the new mafiosos, kingpin. Like I was like, okay, I was ready for it. And I think that when Sonny came back, that they were going to explore more of Jason with Carly, but because Steve exited, they just had him like all these rocks fall on him in the little cast iron tunnels or whatever that was.
I don't even want to. I didn't even want to see no type of power struggle as far as Carly was concerned. I didn't want to see them fighting over her, because I'm like, what the hell is what's the real prize here? Like, what do you get? All you getting is all of this in your ear all day. So what's the prize? Like, what are we getting from you being with Carly? But just a bunch of mouth. That's all you inherit. So I'm like, I wouldn't fight over that. Honestly, I would have to say the worst. It was a struggle because I was thinking about quite a few people juggled into my head. I think I might go with two on this one. One of the worst for me, which is not on the actor. I feel like it was the writing at the time. You and Keaton. I feel like that was the worst. Because I felt like there was so much damn potential for that character.
There was. I agree.
The way he went out, I was never happy about that. I said, this how y'all gonna do him? I felt like he had so much potential to be not even a villain, but I felt like he could have been a great character. And I feel like he would have pulled that off, because I wanted to see him paired up with somebody. I didn't know who at the time, but I think he could have been up here for years. I really do. I think he could have lasted a long time. And I feel like the actor got a bad shake in this. The other one is a no-brainer. Fucking Peter. Peter was the worst. The worst thing to ever walk the Port Charles streets, to ever walk the New York streets, to ever walk the earth. I feel like that was just the worst character that they could have came up with. Because if you're looking for a Faison substitute, he was not it. He was not it. Like, that's the worst Faison. That I can't even call him Faison light. That ain't. I can't put Faison nowhere in there with him, because he can't walk a block in Faison shoes. Like, he can't walk from my bed to the front door in Faison shoes. He just couldn't do it. That was a hell no. They should have took, if you gotta have Peter up here, you should have just took a different approach with him. Cause I feel like the super villain thing working with him, that just wasn't it. Cause how many times I was chomping at the bit for somebody to shoot his ass, and they just kept talking. I'm like, listen, I get that they talk when they're about to shoot somebody, but for him, I'm like, the talking needs to stop. Shoot his ass. Just shoot his ass. Shoot him in every body part that you can. Jesus. Get rid of him. Hopefully he's gone for good and we ain't got to see him again. Hopefully. Because they like to resurrect people, and I'm like, hopefully he's not one. Just keep him where he at. Because that's enough.
I will say though, like in contrast, I actually really enjoyed Peter. The only thing that just didn't make sense was how nobody can take him. Nobody was able to take him down, not even Sonny. And that was a part where it started to feel a little unrealistic to me. But I really loved Peter, though. I really did. I really loved
I
his
felt
character.
that way about Esme. I'm like, how can nobody take this little 17-year-old girl down? Grown people. That don't make no sense to me. I was like, come on, Sonny, of all people sitting here threatening you and you still walking? That don't make no sense to me. I was like, y'all need to stop making Sonny look so weak.
But that's the thing. A lot of times, like, you know, even in the Peter case, it's like when they have to dumb down other people just to make him seem more clever and smart, you know, something just feels off and it just feels wrong. And that's the same thing with Esme. As much as I like Esme, just with the simple fact that it's like she's doing something, she's making something happen, and it's not just a boring episode. Yeah, it's like you got to dumb down other people.
Her ass was beyond crazy. I like her, but she was just beyond. She was a little bit. I like Esme though because she was just a little. She was, yeah. She bordered on crazy, but she went over crazy. I feel like she was just delusional. One flew over the cuckoo nest, but I kind of miss her though. Like if they could bring her back, I'm with it.
I think on some level, I would just say this. For my answer, I would say that I just hope that she's not the Hook because it's just really weird that she couldn't take down an ex-Marine because that would be hard for me to believe. But let me just say this. I would say that the worst GH character and storyline that I can think of off the top of my head, because I actually really enjoyed Nixon Falls. It was actually something so different. I love the little One Life to Live and All My Children references and how it was named after Agnes Nixon. I loved all those references to the storyline. I was feeling it. And they were in Lantano County. But I would say the worst GH character was Levi Dunkelman. That was just a mess. I didn't know what that was about. I thought his accent was fake. I couldn't tell, like, you know, because I mean, like the actress who plays Liesel, I actually thought that was her real accent in real life just because of the way she keeps it. But the Levi Dunkelman, that storyline was a mess, and he was going after Felicia because something with his dad, and he was that whole storyline was a mess. It was just a mess.
I think that was because of the Aztec jewelry.
Yeah, it was something like that. So he was trying to be with Maxie to get back at Felicia or something like it was just a mess. That whole
it wasn't thought out properly.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was jumbled. It was all over the place during that time. Because that's why I always look at Maxie and just be like, yeah, you need to go on a sabbatical from men. So I'm just like, no. Yeah,
Maxie hasn't really exactly been picking them right. There was Cooper Barrett. That was one guy Maxie was prior. Yeah. They thought he was a text message killer at first. And Lulu was dating Logan Hayes, and she killed him or whatever. And that's how she bonded more with Laura because they both bonded over killing somebody.
That was a mess.
You know, that was storyline was just it was just a complete mess. But I would say Levi Dunkelman, that was just a mess of a storyline. I honestly, and I think that's how she ended up with Nathan right after that, or yes, it was something in terms of that. That was like, I think that was one of the worst, which makes me want to ask this question for you guys. Your favorite GH villain. I got mine. I want to know what are you guys' favorite villains on GH. Me and Albert Khan talked about this, but I want to know from you guys.
Hands down, Helena Cassidy. Helena. 1000% Helena. Listen, couldn't nobody, the way that she would throw shade at people by using intellect to do it, like she would just throw out big words and tell them, yeah, go look that up in the dictionary. Like she would just automatically assume y'all don't know what she's saying. Just like subtle shade that she would throw. She was flawless, you know, like head to toe gorgeous, you know, always sophisticated, always put together. Just come into a room, smile at you, and pull the trigger at the same time, and just keep on smiling like it ain't nothing. I feel like there's never gonna be another villain like that. You know, just the crazy that could come out of her head, like, you know, the outlandish plans that she would have just for it to fail. And it would fail, but she always had a backup plan. You know, like she just was 2 steps ahead of people even when they thought they won. She really won. She found a way to come out. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's never going to be another one like that. And I felt, and that's what pissed me off too, because I feel like the other character that they had, Cassandra, could have kind of helped fill that void. Right. And I feel they dropped the ball with Cassandra. I feel like that could have been a dope villain to kind of take over that Helena role. or at least try. But you're never going to get another one like it, though.
Do you think though that, because I feel like they're trying to make Victor that, but it's just, I mean, is that working for you guys? You tell me, because it's not working for me.
For me,
it's not working for me. Mr. Sheffield doesn't work for me.
For me, I feel like looking at Victor, I can't put him in the place of a Helena, because like I said, Helena is that villain. She's in a class all by herself. Victor is his own little way, but I sometimes can't take him serious as a villain. Like with all this, oh, I'm keeping Sonny around, you know, for the time being. For what? What keeping Sonny around? How does that benefit you or not benefit you? I mean, Sonny has no benefit to Victor. So I was kind of thrown off when he said that the other day. That it's beneficial to keep him around. How? Like, how does that work for you? I mean, Victor is growing on me in a way, especially with the little creep factor that he got with Lucy. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen between them. But yeah, Victor, other than that, I don't know. That's just, I'm 50-50 on him as a villain.
Because I would just say that Victor was scary to me when Tao Panglis, if you guys remember the guy who played Tony Andre on Days, he played Victor. Yeah, I felt it.
You felt that scare factor. He when Theo played that, I think I'm saying his name right. I always say Theo. Is it Theo?
I say Tao, so I don't know.
Tao? Yeah, because I'd be seeing the TH and I'd be wondering, is this the H silent? But when he played it, you got that scare factor from him, because he's that quiet danger. It's like he doesn't raise his voice really at you. Like he says something and you know not to play with him, because you know he about to get lit on you real quick. Like, you know not to fuck with him. But this Victor, it's not giving off the scary. It's giving off that creepy, like, you know, you need, like, for the women on the show, you know, I feel like it's giving off that you need to walk around with a rape whistle to, like, just in case he tries something, you might need to blow it and yell. Like, you know, that's the vibe he give me, like, you know.
Yeah, but not like villain, because I feel like with Tao, you know, and he was original Victor too, Tao. Because I feel like when he was on Days, especially, I remember back in 2006 when they kidnapped Sam to get her stem cells. He's like, prepare Samantha now for the surgery. Like, you felt that. You felt scared when you spoke.
But see, that's the Victor I could see sleeping with somebody like Helena back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, they both sophisticated. I could see that. This Victor, I was like, hold up. I need to be a fly in the wall back in them days, back in the 60s and the 50s when y'all was getting busy, because I want to know what happened during that time. Like, how that happened. Right. Like, did y'all like speak the language to each other when y'all was in the bedroom? Like, y'all was talking, you know, dictionary quotes and all that mess. Like,
see, that's my thing too, because I feel like Mr. Sheffield, that's all I call Mr. Sheffield, because, you know, he's the other nanny, the guy who plays Victor now, he used to be the other daddy. So like, Mr. Sheffield is just not doing it for me right now. But Albert, before you tell us real quick, who's your favorite GH villain? Is this Victor working for you? Before you tell us who your favorite GH villain is.
Nope. Just no.
You remember the old Victor?
I don't remember the old Victor. I just, the character is just not really working for me right now. You know, if I sit there and, you know, because I watch a lot of different soaps, if I sit there and look at it, it's like he's literally the bottom of the Victors. You know, you got Victor Newman, you got Victor Kiriakis, and then somewhere down there, you got Victor Cassadine.
I agree.
He's just not working for me.
I agree. It's not. Well, tell us, Albert, who is your favorite GH villain?
And you know, it's funny because I feel like you already know.
I know, but you know, rock it for the rest of the viewers. I know.
No, but just in general, it's going to be Jerry Jacks. It's going to be Jerry Jacks because he just doesn't care. You know, he has a point where he'll blow up the Metro Core and just be like, all right, whatever. I'm not going to get the money. Then, well, some of y'all are going to die. You know. But then he goes around and he saves Alexis's kids. I think it was one point they got kidnapped and he came in there and he took care of it and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, what the hell? But that's what I like about him though, you know? Because he can be very menacing. I feel like the actor, the way he does things, he could just, like, I guess he has like a theater background or whatever, but he just comes across as the type of person that you don't want to mess with.
Right.
You know?
Right. I mean, I'll never forget, and I spoke about this, Albert, but the scene I always think about with Jerry Jacks is when Sam was reaching for that phone. He says, "How badly do you want to be Employee of the Month?" He had that gun ready to shoot. How badly do you want to be Employee of the Month? Or that Metro Court hostage storyline. I will never forget that. I was scared of Jerry Jacks. I was. He was scary. He was
He
scary.
is.
Oh, go ahead. Hey, Brock, you want to say something? Brock, you want to say something?
Oh no, I was saying, yeah, he is a menacing dude, man.
Yeah,
That's a menacing. I always liked Jerry Jacks though. He always had this little suave, little cunning way about him. But he's that type. It's like you only can go so far with him before he really shoots you. Like he only gonna let you talk your mess for a second because he's not that type. Like he's not afraid to pull the trigger on you. Like you can't bluff him and be like, "Oh, pull the trigger then." Okay, bow. He gonna do it to you. He don't care, you know. And that's what I love. I love a good villain like that. They got quick wit and they just don't care because that's the one that you know that's gonna do it. Yeah, because that's the ones you know that's gonna take you out in a second if you keep running that yet.
right.
Keep it up, they're gonna take you right on out.
I would say my favorite GH villain. I had said it before, but I'm gonna change as I've been thinking about it. I know in the past I used to say Anthony Zakara, but I have to say my favorite GH villain was Franco, not Todd Manning's Franco.
No.
You know,
I think of Franco, I always think of James Franco.
Exactly. The original James Franco. I thought that was one of the best. I remember like GH had the whole promo, a limited event series, James Franco comes to General Hospital.
Yes.
You know, and the whole Mad World storyline, him being Jason's twin. And I mean, the rewrite obviously was done because of the One Life to Live shenanigans of the lawsuit, because obviously that wasn't the original intention for that, because that was just a mess. And Heather Webber didn't even come to her own son's funeral. That's a damn shame. But anyway, you know, to me, that I thought he was one of the best because it's like he almost had this catch me if you can type of thing going on, right? And he was always kind of like serenading everyone. He was with Maxie, he was going like, I felt like he engulfed the whole town. Him being Jason's twin was definitely so much far-fetched, but I just worked with it at the time. Yeah. You know, so I worked with it. And it was weird when they tried to put Todd Manning, aka Roger Howard, from the role and then make it that he was a reformed serial killer. I get it. You know, they had to do what they could at the time. They had to work with what they had. I get it. But it was so weird for me. And then they killed him off just for him to come back as Austin Gatlin Hall, which I got to know from you guys. I mean, I know a little about Average One of you, but I still want to hear just so the viewers can talk about it. Your perspective on this Austin Gatlin Hall thing. That wasn't even a question I had that I planned to ask you guys, but let's just talk about it.
My perspective on it?
Yes.
It's a total utter flop. It became what could have been great when it started turned into a disaster very quickly because we're barely seeing him. He came back to town with an agenda. You know, and I was looking forward to the Quartermain battle. And he did a complete 180. Like now you're focusing on Maxie and you got this other little secret on the side that we're barely seeing. And it's like you're basically a day player now. And for me, I feel like Roger Howarth, the caliber of actor that he is, I feel like he deserves better.
I agree.
Because I put Roger Howarth in the category of soap royalty. Like he's up there with a Deidre Hall. He's up there, you know, with a John Aniston. He's up there with everybody pretty much. Leslie Charlson, Maurice Bernard. I put him in that category because he's done it a long time. He's been in a lot of major storylines from As the World Turns to One Life to Live. And people don't even know. Everybody, when they think of Roger Howarth, they think Todd Manning. I think of Todd Manning too, but people also sleep on Paul Ryan from As the World Turns. And I said, you know, and that I hate that. That's why anytime I talk about Roger Howarth, I have to bring up Paul Ryan because I'm like, y'all not gonna sleep on Paul. Y'all not gonna do that because Paul was the shit on that show. You know, I followed him from the time he came on that show to the time the show ended. You know, and he was good. You know, I mean, anybody who got to deal with a mama like Barbara, God bless you. because so I got to bring that up. But I just feel like it's been a dud so far for Austin. And I think that we should, as viewers, we deserve better. Roger deserved better. And hopefully they can fix that, in the near future once this story that he's currently in boils over. So hopefully we get better for him.
Right. Albert, what about you?
It's the same thing, but unfortunately, what it really comes down to, I've said this so many times, but I'll just sit there and say it just for funsies. Blow the cast. Because yeah, granted, I wasn't on board with him just being from Franco to Austin, but I'm like, you know what? Let's give him a try. Let's just see what it's like. But we barely see him. We barely see him because they got so many other characters on the show. And that's the one thing I've noticed from Brock TV, you, me, a couple other people, is that even if people want to give him more of a chance and like him, when we're going to see him again? Next 2 or 3 weeks?
Right.
So, yeah, it comes down to just him being wasted as a character and as an actor. It's hard to even sit there and think like, oh, well, what do I think of him? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. It's like something they're asking, when was the last time you seen TJ? Oh, we see him every now and then we won't see him for like another 3 weeks. Remember Molly? That was a character for a while. So
I would agree with you because I feel like in terms of and it's so weird to hear Rock say that people slept on Paul Ryan because I think I'm one of the people that slept on him because I gotta honestly say I feel like Todd Manning was his best role. Like Paul Ryan.
No, it was because it was his most known role. But if you go and you really watch As the World Turned and you see him up there, yeah, it's different from Todd Manning. But I was like, I like that character though. But he's always gonna be, of course, synonymous with Todd.
Right. Because it's like the same with Maura West. I remember when she was Carly in As the World Turns. That was the first role I saw her in. And then Diane Jenkins on Young Restless, and then Ava Jerome, which I think Ava Jerome was her best. Not because it's most current, but it's just I think that was her best.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, and in terms of Austin Gatlin Holt, I just felt like there was so much more they could have explored with him being a quartermain and revising history. And if any of you guys ever see my reviews, I'm always talking about how I feel like Ron Carlivati is the one soap writer that knows how to write history well. And I don't know if you guys liked him, though, like people were on at that time and he was writing for the show, but I was feeling it because I felt like he knew how to connect to the history. But
I was gonna say because I got a story to tell about Mr. Carlivati, me and Mr. Carlivati's relationship on Twitter. He don't like me much these days.
Okay, what happened? Before I go further, what happened with that? What happened with
because
that?
You know what? When he took over as head writer, right, of DH, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. So I didn't like the whole Franco when Roger took over the role. I wasn't a fan of them trying to make Franco a part of the Quartermain family. I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Right.
So it was certain things Ron was writing at the time, and I guess he didn't like the shit that I was tweeting. And it wasn't nothing disrespectful towards him. It was just me giving my honest opinion. So I go to his Twitter. Why his ass blocked me on Twitter? And that was years ago. And I go on his Twitter today. I'm still blocked. I said, oh, Mr. Carlivati's still mad at me. I said, okay.
Did you tag him in it?
Well, yeah. I tagged him. But it's like, because I'm being blunt, it's like I'm not being disrespectful to your craft or nothing like that. Right. I'm just saying, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just giving my honest opinion. It's not that I hate his writing because a lot of his writing I do like. It's campy, and he could be a little outlandish, but I like it. It's just sometimes he could draw the shit out a little bit. And it's like, all right, let's bring it home now.
Right. Because, go ahead, Albert. Go ahead.
I did have a little side question I did want to ask Brock TV. So how do you feel because I kind of started my channel off of, as far as I was kind of inspired by how you were doing your channel, and the same thing with DC a little bit, because you've been watching Brock TV before you was doing, so how do you feel about that? I know it's kind of a weird question, but how do you feel that you inspired people to do their own channels?
That's a good question. Yeah.
It's humbling. You know what I mean? Very humbling. And it's an honor, honestly. You know what I mean? I appreciate, y'all checking out my content and stuff. And I definitely been checking out y'all content. Because I just recently got put on to DC. And I looked at his video automatically. I'm like, oh, hell no. I said, and I loved it from the moment I watched it. And I was just watching. I said, yo, this is dope. I said, you know, and then when you came to me about collab, and I said, hell yeah, like I'm on it. You know what I mean? Like I would definitely want to collab, you know, because I begin people commenting sometimes like, oh, you know, would you ever have like co-hosts or do a show with somebody like talking about an episode with somebody? I would love to do it. Honestly, if we can make that work, I would love to do that. Where we just all collectively review the episode. And, you know, I think it'd be fun. Like we could kind of have a male version of The View. Because Lord knows I'll be watching The View sometime and I get sick of them little catty bitches. But no, but it's an honor, honestly. It's very humbling for me. So I definitely appreciate it.
When did you become aware of it though? Like when did you become aware of, like, do you remember that moment? You think of like you kind of became aware of all this? Like, because a lot of people are going off of kind of like your model, like the, you know, like the 5 days a week and, you know, just doing all that, like just doing the reviews.
I honestly became aware of it maybe this past year is when I really started kind of taking more notice. And I was like, okay, this person doing this now. And I see, you know, and I've seen a lot of other reviewers too. And I'm just like, you know, this is pretty dope that more people are, you know, reviewing daytime TV. Because usually when I see reviewers, I didn't want to be, I could have been that person, but I didn't want to be that person to review. You know how everybody was reviewing Empire, everybody was reviewing Power. And I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like that was such a huge medium that I wanted to do a market that wasn't really tapped into, that nobody was really doing. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do a market that was kind of feeling like it was being ignored in a way or neglected. Because I asked the actor one time, I think he worked on Tyler Perry's show, and he was doing a Q&A on his Instagram. And I asked him, I said, would you ever do like daytime TV, like a daytime soap? And he said, no, absolutely not. He didn't elaborate on why, but my thing is, I feel like some people just not ready for, you know, to do daytime. Because I feel like daytime TV is an actor's boot camp for people.
Yeah.
Because you have to go in there and read this dialogue, and this is 90 pages of dialogue, and you're filming multiple episodes in one day. That's why I always say, when I talk shit about a character, I'm talking about the character. That's why I always try to tell people, I'm talking about the character. I will, because I feel like some of my subscribers come in, they think I'm disrespecting actors, and I make that very clear. When I say Carly, I'm talking about Carly. I'm talking about the fictional person. I will never disrespect any type of actor, whether it's primetime or daytime, because I probably couldn't do what you do. It would be hard for me to do what you do, especially in daytime. I tip my hat off to them because I'm like, listen, they get rewrites on those 90 pages the day that they have to come in and do them. And you know, they memorize the original script the night before or 2 days before. And then when you come in, oh, we're taking that word out, we're gonna put this in. That would be hard for me because I memorized this word. You know, that's in my memory bank now. Now I gotta switch up on the fast and memorize this one. So I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? My mind don't work like that. So I tip my hat to them. You know, that's amazing. You know what I mean? It's actors boot camp for them. So I don't know how they do it. But I always say, man, you know, kudos to them. So I always wanted to get into that market because I'm like, you know, it's not enough people talking about it. And I feel like if a lot of us come together and talk about it, that's what keeps them on longer. You know what I mean? Because it would suck to lose them, honestly. It really would.
I would agree. I just wanted to add to that, like, you know, in terms of doing reviews, which by the way, I used to love your Saints and Sinners review, by the way, because
yeah. You know, I was heartbroken when that show got canceled.
It was one of the best primetime shows out there. But
it was. I tell people all the time, I'm gonna miss me some Rex and Ella. Right. Leona Bird.
But you know, watching like all these different people, because when I first started doing this, I was like watching you and Albert and just getting inspired, like JLJ Media, all these different people. And I could honestly say that doing this channel, like even me and Albert, we did the whole top 5 GH review villains. And I remember I got a comment from the GH directors and I got to interview them as a result of that. And I never saw that coming. Because I remember I was talking to Albert. Albert was like, you ever thought of like doing this or doing all these things or interview people? I was like, I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to let it come to me. I was like, and then Albert looked at me like, how's it supposed to come to you? I get it. How the hell is it supposed to come to you? You know, but it's like, even just doing something like this, it's just so cool because, you know, at first, like, I think when I first started, I looking at Albert and your channel, I was like, man, it'd be cool to do a collab with them one day. But I was like, I don't know. It'll have to work out. What if we're seeing? And then Albert reached out to me when I had my soap Twitter at that time. and then we started doing collabs. And I always felt like I felt it in the air, like the breadcrumbs. Like, okay, Rock TV will be soon to come. We just gotta let it do its size. It's gonna be soon to come. So it's super cool, like us doing this and us being able to do that, because I did notice that, like, I always wondered, like, with you, Rock, if you were wanted to do, more stuff with people, because I always feel like you were just kind of like, I'm just chilling my own lane, I'm just doing my own thing.
No, it's fun. It's fun for me when I do it myself, but collabs are always great too. Collabs are always welcome, because I'm like, it's like you're chilling with people in a way, y'all just shooting the shit, you know what I mean? And having a good time doing it. I'm always down to doing anything with anybody as long as it's always fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
And everybody is on chill mode, and we all having a good time. Because it's like you sitting around with, you would think that when you talk to people, you would think that you've known each other for a long time.
Right.
And I always like that type of vibe. You know what I mean? I always love that.
Right.
And I meant to tell you too, since you did bring up Saints and Sinners, I meant to tell you about that. Right before the season finale, JD Williams actually reached out to me. Who played Jabari.
Oh yeah.
He reached out to me, and me and him, he was like, listen, I'm gonna hit you on, your Instagram. We're gonna video chat and stuff. And we video chatted. We were talking and stuff about the show, and I was asking him a lot of questions about it. And plus he was on The Wire. So I was asking him about that. And we were chopping it up like we knew each other for years, and that was a beautiful moment. I enjoyed that. So I will always be welcome, to doing more things like that, talking with the actors and stuff.
Wow. That is amazing. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, that was fun, man. I had a good time that day. I think that was like a Monday morning. That was amazing.
Right. Okay, so I'm trying to get my chance out because we have some good conversation. All right. So I gotta ask now, since we are kind of now on current GH, I want to ask now, what is your guys' favorite current GH storyline? If there even is, you even have one, because there's so many of them.
Yeah. Current GH
10,000 of them. So I have to choose for them.
Current favorite.
Or you can even say a storyline that you wish you would see more of.
My current favorite, I'm not gonna lie to you, is actually the one that's going on right now with this hook killer. Because I'm very intrigued by this. Because they done got my boo Diane, and you know how I feel about Diane. I'm like,
I was hurt by that too. I was hurt. Albert didn't care though.
Albert, you need to care, because that's the legal maverick. My heart was hurting when I seen her in that ground. My heart hurt. I said, no, not Diane. I can't lose Diane. Out of all the damn people this hook killer could have went after, you gonna go after Diane? Why not? Why not take Nina ass out? You know what I mean? Like, why it's.
Who do you think is the hook, Rock? Who do you think is the hook?
Who I think it is?
Yeah.
Oh shit. My mind been going crazy about it though, because I'm like, it could be this one, it could be that one. I know Ryan and Esme been floating around, but I don't see it. Who do I think? I was gonna say Dex, but he under contract now, so it can't be him. Damn. I'm trying to refrain from saying Rory because it better not be him. I don't know. That's gonna have to be a question mark because I don't know. It's like, damn.
Okay. Albert, what about you? What's your favorite current GH storyline, and also who do you think is the hook?
I gotta sit there and agree with Brock as far as the hook storyline, but here's the thing. Everyone has been fighting me on this. Like when I do my live streams and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I feel like it's Esme, because even you take out Ava, whatever, okay, fine. Then she goes after Josh, but Brando gets in the way. So it's like, all right, I guess I gotta sit there and deal with him. And I feel like Ryan, why did Ryan just go after Josh? Or even Ava. So I have to sit there and go with Esme. I feel like I'm wrong on this one. I feel like it probably will be Rory or Dex.
Don't say that. You bite your tongue. We're not gonna put that into the universe.
Okay.
We're not gonna put that out there. I know, I'm tired of people. Everybody wanted to be Rory so damn bad. Y'all gonna listen. We're gonna eliminate him as a suspect right now. That's a man of the law.
Yeah, I think PCPD's had enough cricket cops to last them.
Yeah, Lord have mercy. I still remember Ronnie.
Yeah, it was Dante's friend, right? The cricket cop.
Yeah, his little idiot partner.
Yeah. So,
Run around beating up hookers.
Albert, what is your favorite current GH storyline?
Well,
You even have one.
like I said, the Esme one.
The Esme thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say my favorite current GH storyline right now. Well, I can't say my favorite storyline I wanted to see more of, and I talk about this all the time. Brad and Miss Wu. I'm so happy they finally brought Miss Wu on, because I felt like for years they should have made her a character, and I felt like the universe just listened finally. But the problem is, I guess I wasn't specific enough. That's how I wanted this done, because I felt like when they brought Miss Wu on and she got Brad in jail, I was okay, great. Like, I was thinking that maybe Brad would have ended up as a part of the Wu organization, or maybe he would have fell in love with some, like, I mean, the fact that he was married to Lucas, and Lucas was a part of, he was Julian Jerome's son, rival, my family, modern day Romeo and Juliet, whatever you want to put it. Like, there was just so much potential there, or maybe Brad could end up in a situation where now he's deep in, but just being like a little host for the card table games, and just have mojitos, Brit. It's just not working for me. That's one storyline I just wish that I could have seen more on, and just more of Miss Wu in general, because
you want more depth.
What was that?
You want it more in depth.
Yeah, I wanted it more in depth. Yeah, because I just feel like, with Miss Wu, like, I don't know, there's just so much more they could have done with her. And the fact that she's the first my boss to come into Port Charles, like, I'm not gonna try to take down, because I feel like Miss Wu, and I've spoken about this with Albert before, and I have said that if this is my ideal storyline, that if Sonny was to ever leave the show, right, I do feel he should be killed off, because that would just be true to him being a mob boss. But I feel like it would be so monumental if Michael was behind the hit and he collabed with Miss Wu, and Miss Wu's doing all these different things as deception shares, working with Curtis, because that's part of her takeover in Port Charles. Like, it's just like she's setting the stage for that. So I would want to see something like that. Now, in terms of the hook, I'm hoping for Claudia Zakara. I feel like it would make the most sense. And obviously she would never go after Michael and Willow for obvious reasons. But I would be here if it was Claudia Zakara, because I could see her coming back for Sonny. And this is now the second time we've had a serial killer come to town connected to Sonny, with the last one being Gecko Alcazar, trying to send him a message. I hope Diane doesn't die, because I feel like the character Diane, there's also so much more they could do with her. I would prefer her over Alexis. Had a choice. But I would say Claudia Zakara. I felt like maybe do they have any mad scientists on GH? I know they have Dr. Rolf on days, but I can't think of any mad scientists on GH.
Nah, GH, I don't think they do. They normally just have some little day player doctor or something. I wish they did, though. I wish one family had a Rolf type character.
Maybe Victor Cassadine kept her alive in a cryogenic freezer. They got, Cassadines are good on freezers. So maybe he kept her alive in the freezer. That's the little thing he's working on for Sonny to got to get back at him. So, I mean, I would be here for something like that. I would be here for Claudia Zakara.
I think that's the only thing that would make sense, honestly, for him to comment that, it's beneficial to keep Sonny around. Like, what reason would a Cassadine have for Sonny?
Right.
Yeah, that comment kind of threw me, because I'm like, what would you have in store for Sonny then, if it ain't Claudia or somebody from the past?
Right.
Like, how is it beneficial? Because the Cassadines don't dabble in mob business. They see that as beneath them.
They're monarchs.
Yeah, it's like, mob business for them is that's like poetry.
Beneath them.
Yeah, it's like, no, they wouldn't even, they would feel insulted if you said that.
Right, because they killed Brando off. Oh, go ahead, Albert. You want to say something?
No, I was going to ask a question after you were done.
Because I'll just say real quick that they killed Brando off with quickness on a Tuesday, and like I said, I say all the time, when they kill a major character, it's done on a Friday. It's never going. But they killed Brando off with a quickness on that Tuesday. Just killed him off quick. Estel's like, Lord, grant him eternal tranquility. No pain and suffering. They just moved on. Well, go ahead, Albert. Go ahead.
No. What I was going to sit there and say, what is everyone's favorite soap opera right now? Like, I watch all four sometimes. So what's your favorite soap opera right now that's going on?
I think
so between the four.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say for me, it's Days and GH. Because Y&R and B&B, whoo, I could literally go to sleep on both of those. I'm like, no. The dialogue up there is just so repetitive. It's like the storyline on Y&R is just, the corporate intrigue on that show is not even interesting. It's not interesting to me right now. Because the last thing I want to see is the Newmans gobbling up every damn company on that show. And it looks like that's what they're doing right now. Because now they're making a play for, what is it, Chancellor Winters? And I feel like that would be a spit in the face, and Victor sitting there okay in this shit. I'm like, was Catherine not your friend? Like, you really gonna take the company? She already gave him the company and he screwed that up, so why try to go for it again? You already piss poured it, mismanaged it the first time. And now your little brain dead daughter is gonna do the same thing. I'm like, why? And B&B, I'm just over grown people telling another grown man who he needs to be with every 5 minutes. I'm like, no, I'm over that shit. I'm like, listen, I don't need to see Steffi and Thomas telling Ridge for a million times, oh, you and mom deserve each other. You need to be with each other. Forget about Brooke. That's a grown ass man. That man is 60 years old. I'm over it at this point. And Brooke sitting there allowing this bullshit, and I don't even like Brooke, but even I gotta kind of defend that witch.
Right.
And you're like, listen, how is it okay for him to be sitting here booed up with his ex-wife, but the minute he see you with one of your ex-boos, it's a problem? It's not working for me. I'm like, we need to have the same energy. Like, if you got an issue with her being around Bill and Deacon, your ass shouldn't be traipsing around with Taylor. You got your arms around her at a family event and you're still you married.
Yeah.
That shit don't sit well with me, and I don't even like Brooke ass. But even I had to defend Brooke. Like, if I was you, I would have went to the Force Dimension and slapped shit out of both of them. Like, I don't care if Eric got a problem or not. His old ass could get slapped too. Like, I'm just saying, it's like, we're not gonna do this. But as far as that though, Days and GH, I gotta say, I'm rocking with both of them. That little custody hearing on Days of Our Lives, that judge need to get slapped up, because I'm like, no, this little, like, you playing games over here, like you were bored.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah, I'm like, that little judge was bored, because I said, nah, this ain't going down like this. She was totally shutting everybody down except Kristen. I'm like, no, your little ass was threatened, or you were bored. She gave Kristen way too much leeway, because Kristen was asking a whole bunch of irrelevant ass questions. I'm like, what does these questions have to do with custody of your child? What does it have to do with it? And that judge probably gonna give her custody. I'm like, listen, that judge need to get got. Yeah. Like, they need to stop pussyfooting around. Brady, I don't feel bad for Brady at all, because number one, you were told not to sleep with that witch, and you still did. You still had a relationship with her. You still got her pregnant, so you got to deal with the fallout of having a child with this nutball. Kristen, I wouldn't let her within 5 feet of a dog, let alone a child. Like, she don't need to be around either or. She don't need to be around people. She don't need to be around me.
But it was Victor Kiriakis' fault that Kristen's in the situation.
She don't need to be around me, you, Albert. She don't need to be around no society. She don't need to be around none of us. Like, no. But yeah, those are 2 shows I'm rocking with, though.
What about you, DC?
Okay, I would say, well, my all-time favorite show will always and forever be One Life to Live. It will always be One Life to Live, always. I will stand 10 toes down for One Life to Live. But since it's not on anymore, let me go through the rest of the options.
R.I.P. Jerry Verdon, by the way.
Yes. Rest in peace to him. I would say Days right now. And one is because we got Carlovati's writing on there. And I knew he was going to make it like a mini One Life to Live when he came on. I'd have to say Days, because I think Days does the best job at utilizing everybody, picking up the pace. I mean, shocking me, actually doing something, because, as I was thinking about it, watching Days, Sonny getting stabbed, I still feel disappointed with the Clyde Weston thing. I was hoping it was going to be Craig or at least Philip Kiriakis, somebody, but Clyde Weston felt a little lazy writing on me. Felt kind of was lazy on their part. But I have to say Days is probably one of the best, just because the way they're picking things up, and just even with their writing, you know, Y&R, obviously, the only thing they got going on good right now is Diane. And, you know,
Oh, you like that shit?
yeah, you know, it worked for me. It worked for me. And the Ashley Locke storyline, that was like the only two good things they had. And of course, the whole business storyline of Devon and them, but they need to kind of pick that up. It's just kind of going a little slow. And with B&B,
I feel like you're being too nice.
well, I'm about to get into it now with B&B.
He said a little. They going a little slow. You being too modest on that.
Because honestly, I hadn't watched those shows for 2 weeks, and I just started watching them, I think, last night, and I was like, it's the same conversations on B&B and Y&R they had 2 weeks ago. B&B, they pick up the pace a little bit more than Y&R, but B&B for me, it's just, and I just did a review about this recently. I was like, they need a serial killer on there. I think it's B&B's, I think, the one soap that's never done a serial killer storyline, and I think they need one.
What they gonna do? Put the serial killer in their love triangle with Ridge and them too? That's all they gonna do.
And speaking of which, with that whole Taylor and Ridge thing, they've been doing this for 20 years. And I'm like, if you guys want to take Taylor and Brooke's rivalry to the next level, why not explore the fact that Taylor and Brooke share a son together, which is Jack Maroney? Why not bring that in? Why not let that be the next thing?
Jack is the forgotten child.
Exactly. And even if you can't bring Jack Wagner back to play Nick Maroney, recast him. I would prefer that. And then that's a whole nother different type of like love triangle and the Jack's on, and we can finally revisit the storyline. I understand it's not the same Taylor, so we're not getting the same flashbacks. That's cool. But my whole thing is like, that's something that they could do at this point instead of, you know, Steffi disrespecting Brooke and Brooke talking to, and Brooke getting into a Thomas. And Brooke slept with Thomas all these years ago, right? You know, in case we forgot.
I think they kissed. I think, yeah.
No, they slept together. She thought he was rich.
The hallucinogenic berries or something they ate.
Yeah, but they slept together. They slept together because he was wearing a mask, and which I don't know how you would know that wasn't.
I think that was Oliver, wasn't it?
No, it was Thomas. Was it Thomas?
Wasn't that Oliver? Because they were at a masquerade party or something like that. They were at some type of Halloween or masquerade party, and Oliver had on a mask. She thought it was Rich, and slept with him.
Oh yeah, and he was Hope's boyfriend at the time.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Dang, I'm wrong.
I think her and Thomas only kissed.
Dang, okay, that's right. So I'm wrong on that. I mean, but that B&B is just it's at the worst. GH is picking it up, and like we all agree on the bloated cast. So yeah, that will be it for me. But right now, to the best is Days. What about you, Albert?
Days. I'm gonna sit there and say Days. The pacing, the way that the pacing is going, the way, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just love that you feel like you're watching something where it's good. And I've said this before, where it's like with GH, as much as I love the characters, sometimes it gets to a point where it's like the episodes are average. And like, when do we get to a point where these episodes just been average? Like, where it's just been, okay, it's cool, it's acceptable. Like, when I started watching One Life to Live in the, you know, like the late 90s or whatever, it's like this was much watched TV. You don't feel that. Now you do, because of the Hulk killer and everything like that, which is why, you know, GH is my second. Y&R, I just, the problem is, it's not that they have bad characters, they just don't know how to use them well. Like, you have like Mariah and Tess, they don't do anything. I feel like you just have like 7 characters that they don't utilize.
You got Sharon pouring coffee these days.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hate that. Sharon ain't nothing but a fucking coffee therapist. I hate that. My goodness. Ugh.
And then with B&B, it's just like Steffi has just made the show just intolerable to watch. And here's the thing. When you snit there saying like she shouldn't be snit there telling her dad and her mom who to be with, and that's 100% true. You also have Rich dumbass just like, he doesn't put his foot down. And that's something that's just annoying, because it's like you having this girl practically run your life, and I'm like, bro, what kind of father was you like just growing up, just having her just tell you what to do? Like, has that just been going on for your life and you just been used to that? Like, it's just, I can't.
Shit, even Stephanie used to tell Ridge what to do. What to do, how to do it, when to do it. That's a damn shame, honestly.
And the problem too is that go ahead, Brock. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because I was gonna say, like, it's crazy how Steffi and Thomas's rationale is like, oh, you know, we need our parents together. But I'm like, this is the same crap Brooke used to pull back in the day when she'd be all crying like, RJ needs his parents together. RJ needs me and Rich together. Like, Because Brooke always like she's about to cry.
Because you know it's about to be a cry fest when that little one tear come down.
Right.
That's when you know it's about to be on. Because it's funny that you said that because you was like, you know, Stephanie be disrespecting Brooke. Listen, my whole thing is what she did the other day was so damn childish though. Answering that man phone. My dad can't come to the phone. He's with my mom right now. Like, how? What are you, 2? Like, come on now. But at the same time, it's like I don't like it, but I like it because Brooke never gave a damn about Ridge's kids. Like, she never cared about them. Like, even today when she talks about them, she's like, oh, Ridge is going to spend time with his little family. Like, little remarks like that. Little family. Like, come on now. Like, really? It's like subtle shade. And all she gonna do is sit there where, you know, where her sisters and, you know, pull out that one little tear and, you know, sip the tea. And now she probably gonna go hop in bed with Liam at some point because they spending a lot of time together bitching. Oh, we both weren't invited to the Forrester family gathering. So march your ass over there then. You his wife, right? Go your ass over there, bust up in the door, see him with his arms all around. He didn't invite her purposely for the simple fact that he want to be with his other boo. And if you over there all draped on his arm, he can't be over there touching on Taylor. That's why your ass wasn't invited. Ridge knew what he was doing because if Ridge wanted Brooke there, she would have been there. How many other Forrester family gatherings have they had where Ridge was there and Brooke was there? It was never a problem then. But now, and mind you, those was during the times Taylor was not in town. Now Taylor back, y'all having these Forrester family gatherings, and Brooke, your wife is not invited. And then the other day he gonna sit there, oh, you can come if you want. That was some offhand shit. I'm like, no, I wouldn't have accepted that. Like, you're not gonna invite me all last minute. Like I'm some +1. Like you just, you know, throwing me a bone or something like that ain't your wife. So, you know, they just off the hook over there with their nonsense.
Well, you guys know next week is the crossover week with 2YNR and B&B, allegedly. I think it's the crossover week next week.
Yeah, I seen little snippets.
I have low expectations.
I seen little snippets, and I heard that Nikki was supposed to encounter Eric or whatever, and his little pickleball. Hopefully, you know, she stayed true to Victor because, you know, if Victor find out she out there canoodling with any one of them, you know how he'd do. He'd sit there, you know, throw a tequila glass at the wall or something with his old self.
Because I know
that.
Oh, go ahead,
that crossover just looked like it's gonna be a little messy though.
Messy in a fun way or messy in a boring way?
In a boring way. It don't look interesting, that whole her and Deacon situation, like going all the way to LA to dig up dirt. It's like on Diane, like what the hell are we, the mean girls in our 60s?
But that was another thing, like I was just having problems with. I'm like, this stuff happened like 20, 30 years ago. You got these 3 women that have what you guys got nothing else to do with your time except for
technically too, because Ashley ain't got shit to do with this at this point.
Oh,
she ain't pulled not one muscle to handle this.
And Nikki's just Victor's shadow. She's just been Victor's shadow for the past 20 years. You know, that's all because honestly, I know like Albert's only just been watching one for a year now. I wish you would have seen this show back in 2006 when they had Drusilla on and Carmen Nessa and these people. Yes. I really wish Albert could have seen that show, the show from when it was back then. That's when it was good.
You know, that's the thing. Everyone says things like, "Oh, back in the day, you know, YNR was good." I was like, "Wow, what happened now?" and that's the problem. It's like, you know, even this whole Diane storyline, it's like they're trying to go at Diane for something that she did like 20, 30 years ago. I'm like, y'all got nothing else better to do?
I feel like
waste.
It feels like YNR is trying to be too kumbaya-ish. Like, oh, you got to change. Oh, Adam needs to change. Oh, Diane needs to change. Oh, you still haven't changed. But that's my issue with that. And I'm like, this is coming from people who have done worse than the 2 people that they're talking about. And yet y'all haven't changed y'all damn self because look at what y'all do. Like Diane was not even doing anything and she already got y'all sweating. Like Diane will walk into a damn room and here y'all go acting a fool. And she didn't even say 2 words to y'all. And she got y'all pressed. She don't even have to be in a room. Even Adam, he lives rent-free in all they damn head. He don't even be around. And all y'all do is talk about Adam every 5 minutes. Oh, Adam is poison. Oh, he does. And it's mainly coming from Chloe, little lame ass. She need to go somewhere, call Kevin and get some D or something. Go do something with your life. because
don't get how
all
she's
that
working for the man who killed her daughter. I still have a hard time comprehending that. Why?
exactly.
Like, how are you like having this man talk down to you? He killed your daughter. Like, why are you working for him? Like, this is why Adam never took her seriously.
Exactly. And my thing is, I always attribute that as an accident because I feel like too much blame was always put on Adam and not enough or any blame put on Billy. Like, who leaves a little ass kid in a car at night with a dog? Who does that?
Wow.
I don't even leave a child in a car or in the house by themselves, even if I'm sitting on the porch. No, anything can happen during that time. So it's like, no, that was a lot of that was on Billy. Only thing I fought Adam with was running away from it. That's the only thing I fought him for. Other than that, Billy need to take responsibility for that shit.
And you know, I would just add this is that I feel like with Y&R, the storyline's gotten so lazy is because they're number one. That's what I've said time and time again. I feel like it's because they're number one. They're getting lazy at the storylines, and then B&B they're sitting on international money because they're broadcasting like 200 countries. That's why they're sitting here chilling. But that's why GH and Days they have to. It's like they're like the have-nots right now. So they gotta bring it because if you think about crossovers too, CBS Soaps does crossovers terribly. In my opinion, they've done a crossover with Y&R and As World Turns back in 06. That was terrible. You know, they did it before when Ashley went to LA on B&B and all that stuff. I mean, ABC Soaps, to me, I think they did crossovers the best. With Sky was a Chandler, then she was Cummings, and then she was a Quartermain. Or when they had the Baby Switch storyline, One Life to Live, and All My Children with Kelly Buchanan and Babe. And
oh yeah, Kevin and all. Let me tell y'all something real quick. That scene, listen, a lot of scenes just live in my head for free because I would never forget the scene during that time with Asa and Kevin and JR and Adam. They were at the Chandler Mansion and they were about to have a drink. And I remember Asa had called JR boy. And he said, don't call me boy or something like that. He said, I'll come over here and slap you or something like that. And Adam had to defuse. He said, Asa, calm down. It's like, yo, that was so hilarious because Asa was that dude. Like, do not fuck with Asa. Asa was dead serious. When he said, I'll come over here and slap you, oh, he will slap you. He'll give you that big old Texas slap too. Put some stink on it.
Because that's the thing too. You see, that's the thing. Like they did those crossover storylines well, and you know this Y&R and BB crossover. I have the lowest expectations of it. I feel like because I was talking about it earlier in my review. I was saying how even with B&B, like if they did a serial killer storyline with the fashion shows and Brooke was one of the victims, like it's never been must see TV. So this crossover, I just don't see it being anything differently. I mean, they had a crossover once where Stephanie and Catherine Stephanie went to Genoa City to meet up, and Catherine Chance was her best friend. It's just like, and that's good, but it's just they don't do it well. But I do feel like with ABC Daytime, they managed to do like, because I mean they were always doing crossovers of some sorts. I feel like they managed to do it well. So I just wish Albert would have seen the show from back there. I feel like their storylines were slow, but they were good.
It was so much grander back then. Like the sets looked bigger. It was like the weddings were not in a bar or somebody's little ass coffee shop or little house. It was like they really went all out for their weddings, for their parties, for major events. Like they were held in ballrooms. Everybody who was rich actually looked rich. You didn't have Victor and them all up in his little IKEA looking ranch. Like the furniture looked like it's straight out of IKEA. And I'm like, this is not the home of a freaking billionaire. I'm like, if you're gonna be a multi-billionaire, be a billionaire, but you got $500 million to throw at Ashland Locke, but your house look like this.
Yeah.
Like this looks very tiny. I remember when the Newman Ranch was so much bigger than that. And my whole thing about it was, and I kept saying it even during that time, I said the Newman Ranch need a remodel. But when I said it, I'm like, I didn't mean for y'all to tear the whole bitch down and condense it and make it small. I meant change the damn couch and the drapes because they're from 1975. And it was like 2010. And you got these drapes from 30 years back. I'm like, no, just change the drapes and the couch. Not turn the whole thing into some little showroom that looks small. Like, and they just went overboard with it. I'm like, no, this looks tacky and terrible.
I agree with that. And I would say too, like, the worst thing with Y&R, I don't even go on a tangent, but the worst thing with Y&R is just like right now, like when they have a storyline, you think it's gonna go somewhere, it doesn't. Like when there was a custody disagreement with Devon, Chance, and Abby. You thinking this is going to be a drawn out court case, and then it's like Christine's like, okay, I think got it in order. Yeah, we're all in agreement. We're all in agreement, and it's like this didn't go anywhere. Like they didn't do anything with this storyline.
Don't ever hire Christine to do anything. That is the worst fucking lawyer I've ever saw in my life. Like the way she handled that. I'm like, she just gave Devon everything he wanted on a silver platter and advised her clients to do so. That's the worst legal advice I think I've ever seen. I'm like, what is this? Y'all should have dug up Ben Matlock and hired his ass or something. Like this is terrible. I said, no, she's the worst. I see why they call her Cricket.
I agree.
Not a bug.
So let me ask you guys this then. I know we were talking about GH, and just for us to kind of close this all out is Days. So I think we all watch Days. We're all in agreement. We all watch Days.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to.
Y'all like Alex? I like Alex.
That tells me already what he thinks about Alex.
I like Alex. Because he was over there trying to get Menage a Trois, and I said, thank God they're on Peacock now, because we might actually see that.
I don't think we'll see the Peacock stuff till like November, December, though. I feel like.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're not gonna get that till after this year, but I'm looking forward to it. You know, yeah. I listened to the That's Awesome podcast with Steve Burton and Bradford Anderson. I listen to their podcast every week, and they had Robert Scott Wilson up there like 2 weeks ago, I want to say, and he was talking about it. And Bradford and Steve was too giddy asking those questions about the move to Peacock. They were like, so I think it was Bradford that asked that question. He was like, so are we going to see butt cheeks? I said, why did I have a feeling one of them was going to ask that damn question? And he was like, yeah, we might. He was like, we might. You never know. Yeah, y'all going to see it. It's Peacock. You're going to see it. And I can't wait.
What do you think, Albert? Like, how are you feeling about Alex and some of the storylines going on in Days?
I like it. Here's the thing. Like, I came into the game late. So, like, I know some people, they didn't really, they're probably not used to Ben being Alex. And the only thing I didn't really like was the time it was between Ben and Alex. I felt like it should have been spaced out a little bit more. But other than that, I rock with him, I rock with him.
I would agree. I think with Alex, it was an easy transition. Because I realized with Ben, they kind of wrote him into a corner. He's a reformed serial killer. There wasn't much more. And, the actress Place here was leaving the show. So I think that's why they kind of like then put him in this role. I mean, I'm waiting for the meaty stuff on Peacock because I feel like we haven't seen that yet. And I'm not just talking about them just cussing and profanity. Like, I feel like, because this is what I feel. I feel like they didn't intend for the show to be on Peacock this quick because I feel like they still had another year in their contract. And I think what happened is that they just made this decision a couple of months ago for whatever the reason was. And this stuff is what was still meant to be for network. I feel like what we're watching right now. And I feel like come December, November, we're really going to get the gritty stuff. I mean, it's getting there. It's getting there a little bit because you see they got a set where Jennifer was driving on the mountain because, that's the Peacock money coming in. That's a little bit of that Peacock money coming in right now. But I mean, honestly, I think for the most parts in Days, like they're actually having some really good storylines. And like I said, the character development on the show has been really good when they brought Craig back and then the whole Leo and all this other stuff and they killed Abigail. But I just think the Clyde Weston thing was the only laziest thing about it, I would say. But Alex Kyriakis, I'm actually liking it. I'm actually liking the sibling rivalry with Sonny. So I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that storyline, honestly.
Sonny need to get out of his head and get into a bag. Because I'm getting tired of him talking about, oh, you snake, you did it. Listen, if it wasn't for him, you would have cost that damn company more than what y'all needed to pay. Like, he did your ass a favor. You need to be happy. Even though I don't trust Alex like that, because I'm like, you never know. I mean, y'all are Kyriakises. Y'all would snake y'all own mama if you could. But it's like, at the end of the day, he did bail you out. And you better be glad that Victor didn't fire you. I cannot wait though, because I seen some preview scenes of Leo living at the mansion. I know Victor gonna be talking shit. And I live for it because anytime John Aniston is on camera, I live for it because you already know you're about to get some funny ass one-liners.
Yes.
Like the way he be coming for Leo, like I forgot who he was talking to. I think Leo was looking at Brady. Maybe was it Brady or was it Xander? He was in the living room talking to one of them. And I remember Victor just came out his mouth and was like, "Oh, Leo looking at you like a bitch in heat," and I just bust out laughing.
Oh,
That shit had me on the floor that day. I said, "Yo, how is he coming up with these sayings?" Because that shit had me dying. I love John Aniston. Like, I know he's on a limited screen time right now, but I want to see more of him because that man is hilarious.
that's the one thing I could sit. I mean, that's one of the main things I could sit there and agree about his character. When I first started watching it, he says something about Steve, and I was just like, you need to have this guy on here more. Like, you need to have this guy on here more. Because I feel like he's the type of person that just says things with no filter. He's just like, he's going to say it and he doesn't care if you like it or not. And it's just, it is what it is. And 9 times out of 10, it's funny.
Yeah,
So,
it really is. Um, I thought I would be like that at that age, but I feel like I don't even need to wait to be that way because I'm already that way. So I said I don't even have to be without a filter because even my own family members, when I come around, they be scared because I be like, listen, you don't know what's gonna come out of my mouth, so be prepared because I'm liable to say anything. Even at Thanksgiving time, they really need to be prepared. Because that liquor hits your system and it's like, yeah, I'm off to the races then. But I like it though. I'm loving the direction that Days is going in right now. And Lee, I'm loving the drama between him and Gabby right now. I feel like Gabby need to get the hell away from him though, because that man looked like he's short a couple of sandwiches at the picnic. And I feel like if he don't get his way at this potential wedding that's coming up, I feel like he might go postal and try to grab her. Like he might try to do something to her.
I remember watching your video and you said that he's the type of person that'll be like a Lifetime movie as far
He
as he can mess
is.
up your life.
He is. He like one of them little Lifetime stalkers. You know, they be all nice in the beginning when they trying to court you. Then once they got you, you see the red flags, you see a psycho come out. But I feel like you see the red flags when you first start talking to them because ask them anything about their family and stuff. And if they don't want to answer, that's a red flag. That's that's a red flag. Because if I don't know who your mom is or who your daddy is or who your siblings are and you don't want to talk about them, that means you liable to go upside my head. That's gonna be a no.
Right. Brock,
because I feel like the Ike Turner might come out in you, and I'm gonna shut that down before it get to that point. Like we're not gonna do that. I don't play about that. Like we not doing that foolishness. But he looked like he might, and this is on Peacock now, so he might just get mad at Stryker. They be like, yeah, we can't do that on network TV, but we gonna do that here. I'm like, yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I think the writing is gonna get grittier on Peacock. That's why I'm like, you know what? Maybe this move was a good thing because we won't get that same predictability that we're getting with the other three.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, that's why I did a whole video on it. I'm like, listen, people gotta understand something. They're basing this all off what happened back in the day between One Life to Live and All My Children. I'm like, when those shows went to Hulu, yeah, and I loved them when they was up there.
I did too.
When those shows went there, like subscription services were not popping like they were now. And it went too early, but it was ahead of its time. But I feel like those shows went too soon up there. And that's why I feel like it didn't pick up steam and they got kind of a bad rap. So as soon as people heard, oh, Days is going to Peacock, they're like, oh, that's a bad omen. That's no. I'm like, they got sitcoms on subscription services now. They have dramas, they have reality shows, they have news shows up there now, weather stuff up there now. That's not always a bad thing. You know what I mean? That's a good thing because it's a chance to tell stories a different way than what you are allowed on network television. Network TV, you have a lot of constraints. You know, you can't say this, you can't do this. I mean, you'll be lucky if you get a bitch out of them every now and again. You know, the sex scenes are too softcore. It's like, you know, it's like, okay, we need some sex scenes where we don't need to see you giving, you know, fellatio, but we need to allude that that's what you're doing because that's realistic in a sex scene. And I'm like, we need to see you beating that thing up or something because I'm like, that's realistic. I'm like, all this just ripping off the clothes and, you know, all this ripping off the clothes and stuff. And then y'all just under the sheets afterward. I'm like, no. I'm like, first of all, and I say that because I'm like, look at who y'all got on the show. A lot of them are fine as shit. I'm like, this is not realistic. I mean, if you're gonna have fine ass people on the show, make the sex scenes realistic. damn, a little bit. You know, we ain't gotta, you ain't gotta show everything. You know, I ain't saying the women on the show gotta be showing breasts. That'd be dope. But you know, I mean, that'd be dope. But I'm like, be a little realistic. I mean, look at all the photos. Be honest with me. Let's be real, because we're gonna have real talk real quick. No, we're gonna have real talk real quick, because I need to be honest about this. I need to be real. So when y'all watch, especially Bold and Beautiful, come on now, that's LA. But you watch B&B, you watch GH, you watch Days, you watch YNR. A lot of the people on these shows, are they or are they not fine?
Yeah.
But when you see the sex scenes, you looking at them like, okay, this is what my grandma and grandpa did. I mean, we don't want to envision our grandparents doing that, because I tell people all the time, my grandparents ain't have sex. They be like, how your grandparents didn't have sex? It's a whole lineage. I will state that again. They did not have sex. In my mind, they did not have sex. The stork came, and that's how my mama got here. That's how my daddy got here. That's how I got here, by the stork. Now, other people, they have sex. They do it. But that's what I'm saying. You got people on this show that's fine as shit. I'm like, but y'all got these little sex scenes that don't, show off that sexiness. It don't really show it, And I seen a scene on Days where John and Marlena was up in that bed, and the way that she was kind of moaning and groaning, I'm like, hold up. I said, wait a minute. I said, John put that down on you like that at your age? Because she was kind of moaning. I was surprised. I said, wait a minute. And I loved it, because I'm like, at the end of the day, it's showing, grown and sexy at the end of the day. It's like, y'all older, but y'all still get down with the get down. I said, I love it. I don't age discriminate.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for that, for this realistic, more grittier stuff we're gonna get, because from the One Life to Live and All My Children Trauma, I remember even Oprah tried to pick up the two shows and that didn't work. And so I know it's all Trump, but I that's why at first I wasn't sure about either. But I'm like, I think it is gonna get grittier. I think we're gonna see more. I think, and now they got Peacock money coming in, so let's see some more sets.
You know what? Ken Corday. If Ken Corday and all them watch this, they gonna be like, listen, DC, don't be counting our money over here.
Honestly, but I heard that. Think about it, like that's why B&B is able to do all these international shows. They got international money.
I told people all the time. I said, look, B&B is huge in Monte Carlo. They are huge. That's why they go there all the time. They're huge in Abu Dhabi and all those places. They're huge. I said, that's why they're still getting away with these little drabby storylines that they do. And I totally agree with you about YNR and B&B. I feel like because YNR is number one, that's that lazy stuff. You know what I mean? You're number one, so that means you ain't got to put in that much effort. And that's what I don't like about their stories, because I feel like everybody on that show has to be kumbaya, kumbaya. If you do one thing wrong, oh, we're cutting you off. Everybody, all the characters are not gonna like you because you did something wrong. I'm like, I don't like that, because we went from the days of Jack versus Victor, and that was a huge, huge feud. The Newmans versus the Abbotts. You know what I mean? You went from Diane being hated on by everybody and her hating everybody. Like, it was just no holds barred. Tucker McCall, it was all no holds barred. Now it's like, oh, well, we all got to get along. If you got Colin Summer, oh, y'all do one little thing, you're fired from Marquette. Listen, you can take Marquette and shove it up your little ass at this point. Because
now YNR's become our grandparents. So, because that was the thing they used to call Guiding Light, was your grandparents. So now it's like YNR has become that. I think that's why we're getting these. That's another reason why I think we're getting these like small little trepid storylines, because I'm just looking at YNR and I'm just like, this is not a soap. Like, what are they? It almost feels like sometimes After School Special, which is what Guiding Light used to feel like a lot of times, during his later years when they.
You don't want nobody to say that about your show, that you're an After School Special. About a daytime drama. You don't want to hear drama and After School Special in the same sentence. That's not good.
Guiding Light was doing it during their later years, and I had the bootleg YouTube look going on to try to save them, but it didn't really work out for them.
Like, I just feel like people like Victor and Jack, I feel like they're not as cutthroat as they were. They're subdued now, and it's like I'm not used to that. I'm like, where is this feud? Jack is sitting here, oh, let it go. Oh, I'm not arguing with Victor no more. Oh, I'm not. Man, if you don't roll up them sleeves and throw that damn chair out that window like you did 20 years ago, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Like y'all sitting over here like y'all in the old folks' home. Like y'all better go over here and beat the hell out of each other like y'all used to. That's what I'm used to seeing. Like Adam and Billy and stuff. I'm not interested in their little feud because I just find that shit to be boring. Because all Billy do is puff out his chest acting like he better than everybody with his little gambling debts. You know, he just act like he's so much better than Adam. Every time he see Adam, you know, he just puff out his chest like, oh, you're gonna hire him at Jabot. Why the hell do you care? You ain't want nothing to do with that company. You embezzled from the damn company. You should be in prison right now. So why do you care? You know, you don't work for them. And he even admitted that he didn't want to go back to Jabot. So if you don't want to go back to Jabot, I just feel like Billy just want to be a bum. I just feel like Billy don't want to work. He don't like work. Like, he don't know what he want out of life. Like, I just feel like Billy is just a man without a country at this point. You know, and he need to find some type of, you know that executive coach that they got on GH, that's what he need. You know, because I told everybody this shit when I did my review. I said that executive coach nonsense, that's some rich people shit, and I believe in that. Because when we're all going through job changes, we're not sitting here spending $1,000 an hour for an executive coach to tell us something we already know, that we need to get off our ass and go somewhere. All you have to do is pick a job that you think that you would want to do. We're not paying you $5,000 for this. Like, even if I'm balling, I'm not giving you that. Just to tell me something I can do. Like, she literally told Drew, oh, so go back to ELQ. Oh, well, if you don't want to go to ELQ, go back to Aurora. That's what I'm paying you to tell me? You sound more indecisive than I do. Like, this is what I'm paying you for? Right. I would have told, listen, Frank Valentini, don't hire these people no more just because they the spouse of somebody. Don't do this, because this is what we're getting. I'm like, listen, we're not doing that. So yeah, I feel like honestly with YNR, we're in a state of disaster because I feel like the writers need to go. They need new writers. I feel like they need somebody gritty. They need to stop recycling writers. I feel like they need writers. I understand that they want writers on these shows who know the history, and I get it, but you're getting the writers that know the history, but they're just not hitting on cylinders at all. They're not hitting the points. And I feel like there's a lot of new up and coming writers. I feel like that could take these shows into the modern generation that they desperately need. It's 2022. You know what I mean? Like, we got to move this stuff along and get right. And I can't even believe I'm saying this about Ron Carlivati, but he has been doing a damn good job on, Days of Our Lives for the most part. And DC, I want to ask you, because, you're a big fan of Ron Carlivati, I can see. I want to ask you, so is there any way that you can get in touch with him to let him know that he need to unblock me? Because I've been saying nice things about him the last year. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like me and him need to, patch things up, because what happened was like 9 years ago. And it's like, haven't I suffered enough? Like, shouldn't we get along now? Shouldn't I get off the block list? I've been saying nice things about the damn man for the last few years, and I'm still blocked.
That sounds like a General Hospital promo, the way you just phrased it. 9 years ago, Brock TV was blocked by Ron Carlivati, but this week he becomes unblocked.
I feel like me and him need to have we need to have a kumbaya meeting or something, or come to Jesus and just let that 9 years of hate go. Like, all I said was one damn thing 9 years ago, and all of a sudden I come up here and I'm blocked. After I defended your ass, the people that said they don't like you. So what can we do about this? DC? I really want to know. I don't like being blocked by writers.
You might have to make a new account then. You might have, that might be the only solution.
I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing that.
You might can't make that. I would say, oh, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, make a new account. That feel like stalking. Like, I don't want to stalk the man.
Albert, you were going to say something earlier. Albert, what were you going to say?
I don't agree. I think for Brock, like, is that why you don't really review like YNR and B&B? Like, you rarely review it? Is because of everything of what you just said, or just
I want to review it every day, but I just feel like when I watch the episode, just like what you say, what the hell is there for me to review? Because I feel like I would be bored shitless, and I would try to make it fun, but I feel like, well, why not? I can't. As much as I want to make it fun, I just feel like I'd just be sitting up there talking shit about everybody. Like, because it wouldn't be one nice thing to say. I'm like, who can I say something other than Tracy? Who else can I say something nice about? I'm like, Sharon, I'm tired of you pouring coffee every minute. Your hands got to have carpal tunnel by now. Mariah and Tessa, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with them.
I think your last final review was on Thelma Hopkins coming to the show, right?
Oh,
like she used to be on Family Matters with the actor played.
Oh, Thelma.
Thelma
Yes.
Hopkins. Yeah, that was the last. I think it was the last final review.
I just got done watching the whole marathon of Family Matters on HBO Max. I finally got finished with season 9. Finally. But yeah, I think that's one of the times I think I last reviewed that show. I want to do it on a regular basis, but shit got to pick up over there because Nate is starting to get on my nerves with his little, debauchery. He just, that's some unloyal shit. Like, just to go to family, and he really think Victoria gonna look out for him. Like, sir, Victoria is not putting you in charge of a huge company. If you don't get that in writing, it's not gonna happen. Even if you do get in writing, I'm pretty sure she's gonna find a way to fuck him out of it. So it's just like, why are you trusting the Newmans? Like, you're throwing your family under the bus for the Newmans. And then he's telling himself, oh, I'm doing this to better our family. It's gonna better your family? How? They're gonna hate you. And Victoria, her only response to this was, oh, Devon and Lilia, get over it. What fucking bubble do you people live in? Like, somebody steals your company, majority of your company, and they're just gonna get over it. No, they're gonna get some pitchforks and they're gonna stomp on your ass. Because that's what I would do. Like, you're not gonna steal my company and think I'm just gonna get over it. Hey, Victoria, you want some coffee? No. You lucky I don't put some Sugar Avery in your coffee. Like, right. Are you nuts? Like, I would go all kizzy up in your coffee. You don't want me to pour yours. Like, you piss me off. You don't want me pouring your coffee. I mean, I'm liable to put some spittle into it.
Ooh. I was gonna say, like, if you look at it too, YNR, like I remember back when I watched in 2006, and it was a time right after Cassia died. Storylines are gritty, because Kevin was like an online predator at first. That was Kevin. He was going after Lily. He was like 30 and Lily was like 16 or 17. That was a storyline initially on YNR. They don't, and I was thinking about this too, because I covered one of my reviews. I was like, I feel like soaps these days, I don't know if it's PC culture or cancel culture or anything. I'm not going to get all in specifics of that, but I feel like it's a little bit because of that. I feel like we don't get the meat, this is really good meaty storylines like we used
to. You get the potatoes.
Yeah. And it's just like, I feel like the writers are so scared to write certain things and do certain things. And like, for example, certain character on GH, like I think it was Terry and Brett. I would have liked to see that storyline. Okay, she's transgender. How's it gonna go? How does she feel? Like, on top of that too, like what kind of challenges they go through dating. It's not gonna be 100% perfect. I would like to see, I would have been real, but I feel like they're scared to do these type of storylines. Like even on B&B, when they had the child abuse storyline with Stephanie and and Betty White was playing the mom. Betty was like, that didn't happen. I didn't do that. Like, it was just, it was gritty back then, or like, for example, GH, Christina and Kiefer. That was brutal. That was brutal. Remember that scene when she was in slow motion, crawling on the floor?
Yeah.
Kiefer was just beating on her, and it was a brutal, but it was something that was like, made you go, oh shit, and it was real, and you watched, and I don't know, I miss those kind of storylines. And I think people understand, like, for me, it's fiction. I understand that. I'm clear on that, right? And it's just like, I miss it when soaps would do those really gritty storylines where, like that would really make you feel connected as a viewer to what's going on. I miss those things. I really miss those. Like, and I feel like even now in society, there's so much they could talk about on the show, but they're not gonna do it.
That's like they can even tap into sex trafficking.
Right.
Tap into that. I remember at one point they were doing organ trafficking with Johnny Zakar. I believe he was blackmailing Elizabeth's brother and helping him out. But that brings me to that though. That's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, cancel culture. Because that's what I want to ask y'all. Like, as doing YouTube, do y'all ever worry about that? Like saying something and people gonna be like, oh, we gotta cancel you. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna speak my mind as you know, and I'm gonna be as respectful as humanly possible, because for me, I like to joke around. And yeah, I do joke around about serious topics or whatever, because I feel like humor is the best medicine for me. Because at the end of the day, I'm just not a fan of cancel culture. I really don't care. It's like I grew up in an era where you had, you know, comic view, and, you know, you had comedians saying and doing whatever, you know, actors saying and doing, and it, you know, it was never taken out of context. Like people wasn't all up in arms. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't worry about stuff like that. I'm like, listen, you can cancel me all day on Sunday. I don't care. I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna say it. You know, say what I feel need to be said, and you know, we gonna rock with it. We gonna move on. Y'all gonna do what you gonna do. You want to cancel me? Go ahead and cancel me. But the channel's still gonna be here, so it's like it don't matter. And I've still got a mic. I'm still gonna speak. As long as I got a live microphone and my body's still functioning, I'm gonna still talk.
What about you, Albert? Just to kind of close. We going on for 2 hours, guys. We're about to go to 3 hours. But Albert, let's answer these, and we'll go ahead and close out. Albert, the TV that Brock, the question that Brock TV asked, how do you handle that doing your reviews and then the cancel culture behind the scenes?
You know what?
What's your
It's one of those things where it's like, and I think I told you about the one video that I did, and 2 people was like, "Well, I'm going to unsubscribe." I'm like, I didn't want to sit there and come across as a dick and be like, okay, because I always sit there and look at each one of my subscribers and be like, all right, that does suck. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and couch on people. So, you know, I'm going to sit there and say what I'm going to say, and people are either going to love it or hate it. And I may lose some people, but then you know what? I may gain some people too. So that's kind of how, you know, I have to sit there and look at it. Just say what I'm going to say, and whatever happens, happens. It doesn't mean I'm going to go out my way to sit there and try to offend people, but you know, you got to sit there and just be honest, you know. And like I said, during that week when I was doing like the GH reviews when it was like really slow, and what I think I told you that one person was like, "Oh well, you know, you're acting like a Brock Jr." Oh, by the way, somebody was calling me a Brock Jr. In case you know about that. I told DC, but my thing is just about just, you know, being yourself and saying what's on your mind, regardless if it's good or bad, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
I would say to add to it too, like it took me a while, I think, to get comfortable saying what I want to say on YouTube and everything, because I think in the beginning I was probably overly concerned with that. But then I said, okay, you know what, whoever's gonna come to my channel, if they get to know me, get to know my videos, they would understand me and my sense of humor. Because I spoke about that once with Albert. I was like, you know, I'm really big on having like a huge sense of humor, because I'll be doing soap skits, I'm making fun, like I'm just really that kind of a person. So I was like, you know, after a while, it took me a while. I'm gonna be honest, it took me a while to get to that point, to feel comfortable, to say what I want to say and all the kind of stuff without people taking out of context. So I think once on Soap Twitter, I was discussing the legacy of Luke and Laura, and someone took what I said and took it out of context. And I'm like, you know, this is a fictional show and all this other stuff. But I mean, to me, it's just me like really just joking around for the most part. And that's why I feel like, as for me, like I thought Soap Twitter was going to be a good place way back yonder, because like, it's going to be friendly soap banner. People going to get it. That was not the case. I went a real naive. I went a real naive, not thinking that was the case, but it wasn't. But I think it took me a while, but now I'm a little more comfortable just kind of like saying what I want. Because like what Albert said, I'm not going to go out of my way to offend someone. And I don't think I've really said anything offensive, but I think, like, for example, when I did the Steve Burton video, that one was I actually didn't get no bad feedback. Not one bad feedback on that video. If it did, I didn't see it.
I'm surprised.
I was shocked.
You know how people are about Stevie now.
I was shocked. I was shocked about that I even did that. And I was like, okay, but I was okay. I'm gonna put it out there, and I think I know how to get my opinion across, being respectful of people, but just saying what I want to say too. And so that was my thing. So, but I think the people who subscribe to my channel, I feel like they kind of they understand that. But guys, we had 2 hours here. Any closing thoughts though before we go? We had 2 hours. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again.
My closing thought, real quick, I just want to say I appreciate y'all, you know, for having me up here. It was a good time. It was a great time, actually. I appreciate all the viewers, all the subscribers. Subscribe to all 3 of us.
Yes.
Of course. And of course, everybody follow me on Instagram, Davon_Buchanan. I took the Buchanan because of One Life to Live, actually.
I knew it too. I knew it too.
Um,
I knew it.
DC, y'all need to follow me though. DC, you definitely, I gotta follow you. But yeah, so I just want to thank everybody. Thank all of y'all for watching. And I hope y'all all enjoyed this video. And we're gonna kick it over to Albert. Albert, I gave you a good intro.
No, but this was really cool though, you know, just to be, because I've did, you know, collabs with DC before, and that's always been fun, and we're gonna sit there and keep doing that. But you know, doing a collab with you was really cool because again, you inspired me to sit there and do my own channel. And you know, a couple of times me and DC would sit there and be talking and stuff like that. And you know, DC be like, yo, you want to sit there and try to get Brock TV on there? I'm like, I don't know. He kind of seemed like he does his own thing. And you know, I don't know, you know, if I'm gonna say something. And you know, I just didn't want to sit there and like ask him and be like, maybe like, nah, I'm good or whatever. And it's like I would feel bad, you know, like I would understand because we have our own unique styles. But
yeah,
one day I was like, you know what? Let me just ask. And I asked, and he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That was it. Okay. That's all I had to do was sit there and ask. Like, but you know what I'm saying? So it was cool to sit there and like work with you and stuff like that, you know? So I would say that. And thanks to the fans and, you know, everyone that watches our channel, you know, and well, honestly, tell you the truth, I was going to sit there and say, definitely subscribe to Brock TV, but the people that watch my channel already rock, you know.
Like all of our subscribers are already Brock TV.
Exactly. So yeah. Exactly.
If we want to keep it
real.
But you know what? That's a dope thing, man. It's like, you know, everybody watch all of us, and I want more people to watch all of us because we all got, you know, separate styles. But I feel like when we come together, it's even better, honestly. Now we're gonna kick it over to Mr. DC.
I would say this has been honestly amazing too. It's like I'm like, we can go on forever. I'm like, okay, I know we gotta at least give this 2 hours so everybody at least want to watch all of this. But it's been amazing doing this with you guys, honestly. I mean, I could never imagine just doing this a year ago that I would be doing collabs and doing all this different stuff and you know the channel. And I mean to do it with Brock TV, like I said, it feels like a 360 almost, you know, like full circle almost to now be doing it with him. And you know, I'm sitting here laughing because Albert was like, subscribe to Brock TV. I was like, people are subscribing to us, like his subscribers are our subscribers. We're probably gonna need some of his, borrow some of his subscribers. But honestly, it's kind of cool because I mean, I feel like with Brock TV, like you're kind of like almost like a pioneer. You've been doing it because I remember watching back then. It was you and some other lady that was called Nancy Drew 37 doing wine art reviews. I don't think she's not doing them anymore. I remember that time seeing that on YouTube. So it's kind of cool. And even me and Albert just doing these reviews, like it's definitely cool to just be able to do this with other guys who are also reviewing soaps. Like it's really cool to just kind of have this opportunity. And definitely subscribe to the both of you guys, you know, Brock TV subscribers and also for Albert, you know, but like, and I'm definitely gonna put the links for all three of you guys channels in my description when I post this. I know it's been amazing. I had a great blast, and we're gonna have to do this again because it's good all the time. This was really great. I had so much fun doing this. I definitely think we should do like all 4 soaps or something. So I know it's been a cool opportunity, cool ride. I'm just excited. I'm glad we got the chance to do all this. So
yeah, and it's what I was sit there and say before we go is that I had a lot of fun, like even talking about like, you know, the collab or whatever, because you know, you saw a couple of my live streams or whatever. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be me, DC, and a mystery guest. And people was like, who is it gonna be? It's gonna be Brock TV. I'm like, I don't know, just have to wait and find out. But I felt like most people probably knew. I feel like most people probably know. But it was fun that they're just kind of teasing the audience a little bit.
right.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun doing that.
You know what I was about to do? I was about to try to like, you know, I do those little cheesy soap skits. I was gonna make a soap promo like this week on the Soap Sanctuary special guest. I was gonna, I got time for that. I was gonna do something like that.
Yeah,
I know I should have.
You better do that because I look forward to them damn intros.
I was gonna do like this week a special guest on the Soap Sanctuary. I should have done something like that, but I didn't have the time to do it. But I was like, yeah, I was gonna do it. But I mean, like I said, it's been a lot of fun, like just doing this. I mean, to have you and Brock just doing collabs with even just the both of you. I mean, because like if you guys think about it, if you want to be real, when you look up GH reviews, First person that comes up was Brock, and the next person right after that is Albert. I'm telling you, if y'all be realistic, y'all watch this. That's what it is. I'm being real with y'all. Those are the first two people that pop up.
Well, eventually mine pop up a little bit, like maybe 7 or 8 pages after Brock, but eventually they see my face.
No, you being modest now. Being modest, because I look up GH reviews sometimes, and that shit be popping up #1 too. So I'm like, okay, he right here. Okay, let me watch his today.
Wow, that means a lot. Thank you. I even upset about that.
I'm so glad we got to do this, guys. So that's it. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. This has been our, I want to say, General Hospital review, soap talk. We were doing it all. This is kind of like a this is like a soap talk. This has been every all the above, you know.
I call it a soap powwow.
Soap powwow. It's like the Holy Trinity we got here. Anyways, guys, this has been us. Definitely subscribe to our channel, guys. We're going to see you guys on our next collab, guys. Thank you guys for watching.
Good night.
All right, hold on a second. Let me go ahead and stop the recording.